Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Hello, hello. Howdy doody, Natalie. Did you say howdy doody? Did Nat just say howdy doody? Well. Hello, everybody. Let me stop this horrible music. I wish we could have a playlist that had real music in it. Some songs are okay though. Let me stop that there. Get that the hell out of the way. What's up, everyone? How are you doing? Let me say hello to everybody. Mike, what's up, Mike? How you doing, man? Musey, how you doing? How you doing? Oh, we got a Westworld tonight, don't we? That should be over though, right? I gotta watch Westworld. Leslie. Leslie, the reason we do 10 is because this is our this is our time slot, for post show, which will be from 9 to 10. Then we go from 10, 15, 10:30, whatever till late. So this is our normal time because the show will be on at 9 o'clock, 9 to 10. So this is what we've always done. So that's when we're kind of reestablishing. We didn't obviously stream last weekend because of July 4th, all that good stuff, but we only have 6 weeks to go, so welcome. Pete, thank you for resubbing as a member, or rejoining, I guess. Usually I'm saying thanks for the sub on Twitch, but obviously subbing here is free. If you can do that, by the way, hit that subscribe button if you're new here. Welcome in. But thank you, Peach, for resubbing. I don't know the difference, Peach. Glad you're here, Peachy. Welcome. Lady Danish, hello. Smoke break time, that's right. Let's see. No Bar, hello. How you doing? There's Lady Jen, where there's SmokeScreen, there's fire and blood. I like that, Lady Jen. I like that little saying there. Zara, hello, Zara, how are you? Travis Trolley, what's up? Mike Williams, Albert Brighton. Lord Kev is here, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, Lord Kev and Peach and some of you mods, Doc Holliday will not be here this evening. He's not feeling well. He did text me and said he probably wouldn't be in the chat. He might be hanging around, but he said he feels like shit. So hopefully he's doing good or gets better. Let's see. Ryan Biggs. Hello, Ryan. How are you? Obi-Wan, is that you? Yes, it is. Ask the Cheese Gaming. Hail. What's up, Ask the Cheese? Alex, how you doing, man? Yay. Let me scroll down here and catch up here. Let's see. Where am I? Okay, y'all are cool kids. There's Natalie with Howdy Doody. Chicken to Jail. Hey, what's up, Chicken to Jail? How you doing? Nolan Saints, what's up, man? Josh Putman, how you doing? Penn Muse, hello. Welcome. CT, there's CT. What's going on? Come at me, Chrissy. Don't call me Chrissy in public. No, I'm kidding. I don't care. She's gonna pull out the Chrissy in public. Nata. God almighty. Stefan, what's up, man? How you doing? Lucis, Lucis came in with the will, Nat. She's trying to change it up on me. Welcome. What's up, someone? Good evening, Chris and friends. There's Mazuma 10K. This guy is awake tonight, so he is here. Thank you for stopping by, Mazuma. And he says he's not wearing any pants also. I'm not either. These are always pantsless streams. Pantless streams. Jesus. Lady Jen, hello, our liege. Ooh, I like that. Hello, our liege lord. Let's see. Oh, that's right, you're in California, and yeah. So you're. It's 9 o'clock there. My bad. I'm sorry, we're interrupting your Westworld. Hey, you can watch that anytime, though, right? You don't have to watch it actually when it comes on. It's like on demand. You know what I'm saying? HBO Max. Lady Dennis, actually really looking forward to the new show. I am too, Lady Dennis, and I said this many times. I was not at first. I was like, but I am now. As we gotten closer, we gotten obviously teasers now. We should get a trailer here soon, probably in I'm guessing Comic-Con week, the 22nd or Thursday, whatever day they're doing it, for an hour panel. I think we get a trailer that day, and we'll obviously break that down, talk about it. Full trailer. Hooper, g'day, mate. How you doing, Hooper? Let's see, Diane Harris. There she is. I know I missed a few people. I apologize. I'm trying to catch up here. Lynn Reed. What's up, Lynn Reed? How you doing, man? Welcome. Let's see. Ricos. Hey. How are you? Stefan, buy Chris's book to see that luscious hair and read some damn good writing. Yes, exactly. You can see my hair. Well, I mean, it's in the hardcover, right? The hardcover, you can see it. Yeah. By the way, speaking of the book, just to say this, I mean, because I mean, if I would want to be notified. And I guess I can technically push my own stuff here. The book is on sale on Amazon for like $4.50. The hardcover. The hardcover is actually a little cheaper right now than the soft cover, which is odd. I don't control the prices on Amazon, so hey, go for it. If you want a book, it's time to get it now. That would be cool. It's really really cheap. They keep lowering the price, and it'll go back up, and then they'll lower it again. This is the lowest I've seen it. It's literally like $4 and hold on, let me check that. $4 and something. Yeah, hardcover, $4.23. So there you go. If you want the Crimson Gods, now's the time to grab it. Here you go. I will paste that in the chat here a couple times. There's your Amazon link if you order from Amazon. And yeah, $4 and something. That's nothing. I mean, that's crazy. It's cheaper than the soft cover. Let's see. Let me scroll down. All right. There's Christian Cruz with the okay. What's up, Christian? That's Christian's catchphrase is okay. But hey, it's a comment. You know what I'm saying? It's a comment, Christian. So it works. We want people to engage. We want people to engage with our content, whether it's a video, a live stream, whatever. We need that engagement. So keep on okaying, and I'll keep on hearting it. So anyway, I didn't have a real, I didn't have any real like a specific topic. Hold on, I'm sorry. I gotta. Just 1 second here. Got to. Okay, there we go. But yeah, I didn't have a specific topic. I just want to talk about, we start talking about the show in season 1 in general. But I can mention a few things I think we'll see in the first episode, first season. So I thought we could talk about anything, obviously, House of Dragon, Game of Thrones, obviously. But I didn't have any specific thing. I just want to mention a couple things I think we'll definitely see, especially episode 1 for sure. We've seen a little bit of it in teasers, but, George R. R. Martin just recently did an interview with, Game of Thrones, which is, Zach and Hannah. They were the ones who originally put together the first Con of Thrones that I went to in 2017. And if you like podcasts, George R. R. Martin stuff, they did an interview with him just a couple days ago, and it was put out yesterday, day before. So shout out to Zach and Hannah from Game of Thrones. And listen to that. I've got like 20 minutes left or whatever, but most of it anyway. And he did confirm we will see the Great Council of 101 AC. So we saw that real quick in the teaser. And I thought that's what we'd probably open up with. This kind of set the precedent of what's going on. Jeffrey, hello. Hello, Jeffrey Fulton. Ungoliant, how you doing? Welcome. Ungoliant, yeah, Thor Love and Thunder was not great. It wasn't horribly terrible. I had some fun. I did go see it the other night. But it's certainly not Ragnarok for sure. But it has some good moments. I mean, there was some stuff that was kind of cheesy, but they kind of regressed. My whole thing was, I won't get into Thor obviously here, but my whole thing was they kind of regressed Thor himself backwards to make him kind of a dumbass again. So I don't know, but it had fun parts. The goats were funny. I won't spoil anything, but there's Jessica. How are you, Jessica? Let's see. Lady Danish bought the hardcover just now, even though I bought the Kindle version already. Happy to support you. Oh, thank you, Lady Danish. I appreciate it. Hey, let me say this, Lady Danish. The The Kindle, though, what bugs me about the Kindle is they could not do the same formatting and stuff in a Kindle. For some reason, you can't do all the cool. The hardcover has all the formatting. It's got the character art and all that stuff in it, and then the cover, and then the hardcover itself. Yet you just can't get from the Kindle version. So you will see how gorgeous that book is, regardless of the writing. Some people may not like the story. I haven't heard any real horrible feedback yet, except for one person that you may or may not know. But no, but they did such a great job on the cover, and it was so smooth as far as the process. So you will see how gorgeous that book is, especially the hardcover. Jerry, thank you, Jerry. Thank you. I appreciate it. Just bought it as well. Hope you enjoy it. And by the way, for those of you who have read it, and if you don't mind going on Amazon and leaving me a review, that would be cool. We're getting close to 100. I think we have 88 reviews on the book now. And I haven't seen any magical effect from it like it's supposed to be. You know, you hear when author, you need reviews, and that'll kick it up in Amazon's algorithms and all that stuff. I hadn't really seen anything like that, but maybe 100 will start triggering something. So we're getting close. We got 88 reviews on Amazon now that's showing. I know there's been a couple that were removed for some reason. I don't know why, but nah, what you talking about? I'm not talking about you. I haven't heard anything negative from you. Someone, thank you. Well, cool. Everybody's cool. Everybody agree. Yeah, everybody grab the book. If we can sell like 8 books in a day, I think we can make a number one. I think we can hit number one in the medieval fantasy list. I really do. I don't know how quick that would update. I think it updates every hour. If I could sell 7, 8 books a day, I could make number one. It would be considered a bestseller. That'd be cool. That doesn't mean you make money from it, by the way. I've lost all kinds of money on this book, but I never did it for the money. Anyway, so let's jump into it. I know, Jessica, I've been thinking about more and more recently, Jessica, so I think I'm on the precipice of getting the second one really going, although it's technically already started, but I need a real clear direction, and that's where I've been kind of, hesitant. But I'm getting there, Jessica, so it won't, once I get the direction, I write actually really fast, so I'm getting there, Jessica. So it won't be like 12 years or something like Winds of Winter. Since the last Ice and Fire book. And Lady Jen's talking about the audio book. It's outstanding. I'm telling you, Graham Mack, who I did an interview with on his channel. If you look up Graham Mack on YouTube, I did an interview with him. You can search my name and his name probably pop up. He's the guy who did the voiceovers. It's so outstanding. He did such a great job. It makes it really pop. It didn't even feel like my story when I listened to it. You're saying just wanted the audiobook and paperback. I paid more, lol, just a fan, wanted to see what comes next. Yeah, that's the thing too about Lady Jen, about the audiobook, as I had no control over any pricing. I could control the base price of the book, obviously, that's it, but anybody can put it on sale or whatever, lower the price, that's fine, like Amazon does. The audiobook, you have zero control. They assign all that stuff. You just literally record it, approve it, and they do the rest, and you have no control. Christian, thank you. We got 3-4 books sold. That's cool. Very cool. Appreciate you guys grabbing it. Lucis, 10 years from now, Winds of Crimson, I'm calling it now. Well, we'd have to call it the Crimson Winds, though, Lucis. It's going to be the Crimson something, right? Yeah, there you go. And see, Peach, I know Peach is using the little emoji there, the Crimson God. That's supposed to be a red lotus, by the way. That's actually the red lotus from the book cover. That has meaning, and I saw Zara using it. So you can join the channel and grab those emojis. We'll be adding some more too. I've got to overhaul so much stuff on the channel. I've got to overhaul emojis for members. I've got to overhaul Patreon. Is kind of been overhauled a little bit, but I need to add some more stuff there because Patreon's shrinking still. So we need to get some exclusive content there, all that stuff. So there's some stuff I need to do, and we need to overhaul the store. We have old stuff with Proto Stark on it. Nobody knows what that means anymore. So we have to get all that overhauled. So we'll be doing that too, for sure. Yeah, space unicorns. And what was that? What else, Mazuma? I forgot. We were talking the other night about it. We had something I was going to add to besides space unicorns. King Crow, welcome, welcome. Grab you one, King Crow. Grab you one. Hey, $4. Amazon right now, $4.50, $4.80, whatever I said, for the hardcover. The hardcover is by far the most gorgeous book, if I do say so myself. Anyway, yes, Lord Kev. Well, hold on. Oh, I'm sorry. AK Watch. Hello. There's AK Watch. I thought I saw somebody. Pete said hello to AK Watch. Lord Kev, join the Patreon. Yes, please. That would help a lot. Would definitely help a lot if we could get that going again to feed me. If you want to feed me, because as much as I appreciate you guys buying books and all that stuff, literally right now I owe them money because a couple stores return some, which is normal, by the way. A couple stores return some boxes, and I have to pay for that printing cost anyway. Which, and then, by the way, they don't even have to actually return them; they just destroy them, and I get charged for it. So that's fun. Ian, what's up, Ian? How you doing? When the series finishes, Soul Vice Fire will be the first fiction books I've ever read. Yeah, no shit. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna. We'll get WoW probably in a couple years or a year or whatever, but we're not gonna get A Dream of Spring. All right. So I saw Diane had a question somewhere. Hold on, Diane. I'm trying to find your question again. I lost it. I lost it in the chat. It started to scroll pretty good there. Brian N, welcome, Brian. I know I missed some of you too. I apologize. Hold on. Diane, the book will be a great gift. Yes, it would. Oh, there it is. Q&A, do you think that we will see any dire wolves in House of the Dragon? No, we should not see any dire wolves in House of the Dragon. We should not see the North except for a couple times when I won't spoil anything, but somebody flies up there and asks Lord Cregan Stark to support Rhaenyra. And so we'll see that. We'll see obviously them, and they'll change some things. I believe we'll see them in King's Landing swearing fealty to Rhaenyra when he makes her heir, Viserys does. But we shouldn't see. You're not going to see a lot of Starks and stuff running around during this time period. What's up, Travis? How you doing? CT, will James be making any appearances on the after shows? I hope so, CT, but I kind of doubt it based off his schedule. I did talk to him last night about it, and he definitely wants to watch the show, but it will be like you come on here starting at like 10:30 right after the show, and we don't get done until 12:31 sometimes, and then he's got to work the next morning at like 7. So I don't think so, but I hope he stops in and makes an appearance or something. I don't know. I've talked to him about it several times, and he just, I don't know. He wants to watch the show, but I don't think he's as excited about it as I am. Of course, he wasn't about Game of Thrones either. So maybe once he gets into it, we'll see. Once he sees a couple episodes, and I think he'll get into it. Peach, I have to be honest, I can't keep these characters straight. Yeah, that's going to be a problem for people for sure, Peach. But that's what we're here for, right? We're here to straighten that out. But once you get into probably, I don't know, it depends on how they do it, right? How much they introduce in the first few shows. It's kind of like God if you had not read the books and you started watching Game of Thrones, you couldn't remember names, and you just would be like, that one short dude or that one guy who are the people with the blonde hair? Which is I think it's good to make Valarians different as far as the show goes. I think it's a good idea, especially for TV. But let's real quick, just a couple of things I'll mention, then you can ask whatever question you want, please. But I do think we'll open with the Great Council. We saw a quick clip of that. I wish I had screenshots, but I don't. And that's essentially 101. So I think we'll start when King Jaehaerys was still alive. Now he won't be in the show except for probably maybe he'll make some appearance in the distance in this council. I don't even know if they'll show the whole council or if it'll just be a couple scenes or whatever. We'll see. But this is in 101 AC, so this is like 20 years. But it'll set the precedent for this kind of who becomes the next king type of thing, and essentially it sets up the idea that Jaehaerys when his son Balon dies, then he has no heir, and so instead of picking, and then he has his son Aemon was then the heir, right? So he had Balon dies and Aemon's the heir. Aemon then has a daughter named Rhaenys, which you will see in the House of the Dragon. You saw her and Rhaenyra talking. She's the older lady married to Corlys Velaryon. So they pass over her. He passes over her, and that's when it pisses obviously his wife off and her and all that stuff. So they pass over her to go to Viserys, which is his other son. But in the line of succession, the way it usually works is it's the eldest son's eldest son or eldest child. But it always skip the females, and so that's going to kind of set the precedent. So Viserys gets picked, and obviously you'll see Viserys throughout season 1 as the king, and he's the one who names obviously his daughter Rhaenyra heir. And it's almost a repeat, except he sticks to his guns, and he actually names his daughter heir and doesn't back down from that, even when he does later have sons. So we're going to see the council for sure, and that'll be probably, I would say, a little bit of the first episode. I obviously have no insider information. I don't know how long, if it's a lot of scenes. So those are going to be things we're definitely going to see in episode 1 of season 1 for sure. So we're going to open with that. Diane, Chris, loved your last podcast with your, oh, you mean last video with the special guest, Eddie Stark. Eddie Stark did make an appearance. Hope to see other guest stars like John with the long locks or Waymer. I really enjoyed it. Hope to see more. Yeah, it was fun to do, Diane. I just had to do something different. I thought I'd bring Eddie Stark back, and those are fun to film and do. I didn't have to do all the green screen at that time by actually making him a guest, so it was fun. Hopefully more people watch it. I don't think anybody's watched it. But everybody that watched it has left funny, good comments. So people seem to think they're pretty funny. I don't know. They're fun to do. Peach, I watched your breakdown of the trailer 5 times yet. Well, I mean, you know, that's what we do it for, because I do all the reading and rereading, so you guys don't have to. Now, admittedly, I need to reread Fire and Blood, especially that section about the dance and what the show's going to cover, and probably The Rogue Prince, which is another story, single story in an anthology called Rogues. And then The Two Queens, The Year of the Two Queens, all that stuff. So there's stuff I need to reread for sure to kind of make sure I'm, crisp on it, but we'll see. We'll see what they do. It'll get to that point where, okay, I remember this girl, the younger girl who's supposed to be queen. This is Rhaenyra, and because you got a lot of Targaryens, a lot of Valyrians with blonde hair and purple eyes, and I guess they're not doing the purple eyes again. But then they have very similar names with Y's in them, and so I know it can get confusing. Rhaenyra, I mean, he breaks all the rules about names. What's up, Mike Williams? Jessica, I thought it was hilarious. Yeah, they're fun to do, Eddie Stark. PN Muse, Eddie Stark was hilarious. Yeah, so funny as hell. we have to spell things in Southern here. Mike Williams, episode 1 is 1 hour and 6 minutes. Oh, do we have lengths now, Mike? Or we have that on somewhere, like the episode lengths? So that means, we'll have our typical 9 o'clock to 10:06, right? And then we'll start this at like as soon as we can after. Obviously in this house, I don't have to set up and move a bunch of tables and shit. And I'll just be able to run up here and jump on, because this will all be set up and ready to go. I'll literally just plug in my mic, and we'll be ready to go. So we can start a little earlier right after the show and get these going. So I look forward to it. We'll see what happens. We'll see. I think because, we're not going to have a lot of people in here excited about it until the trailer drops, probably. And that will probably be, I think it's, let me look on this calendar. I think it's like the 28th or 21st. Right? Whenever, I think that Thursday, the 21st, next week is the Comic-Con panel. And I believe, I don't know, but I believe that they will get a trailer, because they're going to release some footage to the people there of the actual show. So I think we'll get a teaser or a full trailer. Haynes Nation, welcome. What's up? How you doing? Sarah K. Yeah, Sarah, I said that before, actually, Sarah. I believe we talked about that before. I know we mentioned it. You know, Yennefer has the purple eyes in Witcher, but they don't do it on HBO. I've never understood that. I do understand, like, the first season, Emilia Clarke said they tried it, I believe, and they shot the pilot or something, and it was too painful. But it's like, it's contacts. I mean, people wear them all the time and all kinds of stuff. So I've never understood that, why they don't do that for House of the or Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, whatever. Oh well. Hope what's up, Sarab? Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Hope HBO does Corlys Valerian justice then spin off. I think Steve Toussaint would be outstanding. Honestly, I do. I think he'll be a great Corlys Valerian. He looks the part. I think he looks cool as shit. He's got the hair. And to make him more of that pirate feel, because he is of the seas. He's not a pirate, but you know what I mean. That kind of feel. He looks the part for sure. I understand there's controversy about, you know, he's a black dude and Valarians are not, and they're not in the books. I understand that, but I think for TV it makes a lot of sense. I don't think it's some woke thing that people like to throw out there. They overuse that too. In this case, I think it makes sense because, like we were saying, like Peach was saying, like you have all these Targaryens and Valarians, right? They're all Valyrians. How hard is it for somebody kind of new and don't know characters, hadn't read books and all that stuff, to come in and see two families all the time in every single episode, almost every scene, and they all look the same, and they have the same kind of names with Y's in it. You know, Viserys, Rhaenyra, Daemon, and, you know, all those things. And then you're like, who is that? But if you make, in this case, it doesn't change anything. It doesn't change this plot of Rhaenyra's kids, which I won't spoil or anything here. But I think it's actually a smart move in this case. It's not tokenism or whatever people like to throw out there in this case. I do understand that happens. I've talked about it before. I've mentioned it on here a couple of times, but I think in this case, it's going to help people out a lot. And I think Steve Toussaint is an outstanding actor, is the main thing, and I think he'll do a great job. Yeah, I think it makes. I think it makes sense. I don't think, Eric. I really don't. I don't think in this case it is. I think there are definitely things out there that I agree with are in some shows and TV. We'll see. We'll really talk more about that with Lord of the Rings, I think. I do want to cover the Rings of Power, but I'm really worried about the Rings of Power for that very reason. I think they've really went overboard, and you can see by the way they had the articles ready. We're not going to talk about all that here, but they had these articles ready for the kind of backlash, because Tolkien is a whole different ball game. You got people that are so dedicated to the Tolkien society, etc., and they're literally just making stuff up. And creating the Second Age is thousands of years shrunk down to a couple, and I just don't know how they're going to do this stuff. So I'm really worried about Lord of the Rings, but I don't think House of the Dragon is going to be anything like that whatsoever. And I think it makes sense for TV. Let's see here. So, excuse me. Pete, I saw an interview with Matt Smith where he said he didn't watch any of the monitors because seeing himself so blonde was unnerving to him. Yeah, I think that actually that's what bugs me more than anything is these wigs, man. I don't like they let their hair be longer and just in ponytails. Not all these. I know they got the southern haircuts and that is a thing, but I just don't like the look of the wigs on the dudes anyway. I think Rhaenyra's looks great. She looks fantastic, both old Rhaenyra and young Rhaenyra. But like I hated Rhaegar's in Game of Thrones, and I don't like Daemon's either. I'll just have to overlook it. But yeah, Valar Morghulis, I think you're right. I think they do need purple eyes, but apparently they're not. So maybe that's just to keep it. I don't know, with Game of Thrones as far as that kind of feel, but they should do it. But the other thing I want to mention really quick too, a couple things I think we'll see in season 1. Hold on, I'm sorry. Hold on 1 second. Random. Ungalent, I don't have a problem being a black dude unless the show makes it a point that they are denying his kid because he is black. Yeah. I don't think so, but I see what you're saying. And look, and I believe you can have a conversation about this stuff without being labeled. So let me just say that I think it's fine to have a conversation about it. But I do think that people, there's an outrage culture as well that comes into play, and where everything has to be like some woke thing or whatever. And I don't think that's the case here. If you really start thinking about it, and you, I don't think they'll do that. His kids will, obviously we've seen Lena and Rhaenyra and all those kids, so they'll be mixed in that, in the sense of the difference, but it won't affect the plot because her kids, Rhaenys' kids, which again, without getting in all the spoilers, unless you know you have a specific question, they'll still be Strongs with brown hair, right? It doesn't make a difference as long as it doesn't break the plot. So, don't want to go into all the political stuff. I just wanted to mention that because I know there will be questions about it, and it's totally fine. I think you can have a conversation about it, but let's have an honest conversation about it. Because in some cases, in some properties, it's definitely an issue where they do this kind of stuff, but I don't think that's the case here with him. Haynes Nation random Q&A. Where do you stand on the Helen Keller issue now? 50-50 it was real or the teacher. They didn't let her marry that dude also. I still think it's, since the podcast, that's the last I've thought about it, Haynes, but I haven't really changed my mind. I don't think it's real. Honestly, I don't. I think it was a ruse. I think it's the teacher. Now, again, I could be wrong. I haven't studied any more into it, looked any more into it since we did that podcast. But so I really haven't changed. I just think after we did that podcast and looked into so many things, it was like, yeah. Not saying she wasn't capable of doing something, but I don't think she did all that. Lady Jen, okay, so out of left field, scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, how much do you like Elden Ring? Lady Jen, I'll say a 12. I finished it twice already. I haven't played it in a couple weeks because I finished it twice on New Game Plus. I'm level 320, I believe. I fucking loved Elden Ring. It's the best, by far the best solo RPG ever made on the PS5, for sure. 100%. Pin Muse, I like the diversity. Keeps it interesting. Everyone should look different from different parts of the Six Kingdoms. Well, the thing is, though, Pin, is there's diversity that's natural and there's diversity that's forced, and that's where people have an issue when you start changing source material for modern day stuff. And this is not modern day stuff. This is obviously based off, you know, European history and stuff like that. So there is a legitimate argument where you're not, it doesn't mean you don't like actors of color or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So there is an argument to be made, not here necessarily, because I don't think they're doing that here. But as far as like some other, I think you'll see that in Lord of the Rings. Not to say it's not necessarily a good or bad thing either way. I'm just saying there is an argument for, like, when you change the source material for modern day politics, it doesn't work. When you start focusing on that only, and just that alone, you forget about the story. It's more about the identity of people, and that's not what good stories are made of. Good stories are good stories regardless of characters and where they're from and all that good stuff. George, yeah, the Rings of Power is going to suck. I'm worried about it, George. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to hold judgment. Obviously, I'm going to check it out. I would love to love it and talk about it on this channel because it'll follow House of the Dragon. It'll overlap a little bit. I'd love to talk about it, and so we will one way or the other. But I'm going to be honest about it. You know, I'm not going to just say I love it because Lord of the Rings. I don't think they'll ever outdo the Peter Jackson films. He's tried to stay true to Tolkien. He had to change a couple things, obviously. He actually mentions that, talking about the modern day politics stuff, in an interview back in the day too, where he did not want to inject any modern day stuff into it because he thought that was disrespectful to Tolkien. So, you know, there's stuff on both sides, I understand. But this is not the case here. I don't believe it all. Excuse me. Sorry. Sensational Cinema. What's up? How you doing? It's going to be difficult because GOT was difficult for non-book readers. I think the 200 years before could be a roadblock when it comes to trying to explain everything to new eyes. At least I think so. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you look at it like a separate story where you just recognize the world, right? Because you're not going to get any crossover with any modern characters, so you're not going to have to worry about Jon Snow. I think in Jon Snow or certain Lannister. In this case, it'd be Jason Lannister. But the cool thing is like if you've watched Game of Thrones or read the books or whatever, but you're saying like somebody who just non-book readers, they're going to know when they hear Jason Lannister, they're going to know what house he's from. They're going to know where he's from immediately without having to be told. And it'll just be like a different character, but they will be familiar with the name, obviously. Damn it, my cords are getting tangled here. So I think that's a good thing for non-book readers. But in this case, you have the similar names and stuff like that, which is I think the more difficult part. Remembering if you hadn't read anything at all and you see Rhaenys and Rhaenyra, I mean, obviously when you see them, they're going to look completely different. One's a lot younger, Rhaenys is a lot older. But just like the first couple episodes, like, wait a minute, was it Rhaenys rides Cyrax, right? No, that's Rhaenyra that rides Cyrax, right? No, okay. So there's going to be a lot of that stuff for a couple episodes. Or for a while, probably, actually. I mean, we're going to see 17 fucking dragons, and you got to remember their names, too. I mean, you don't have to. You can just say Rhaenys rides a dragon, because she's a dragon rider, so is Rhaenyra. But you don't necessarily have to learn Cyrax and, the different, and Silverwing and all the different dragon names at first. So that's one thing you can kind of learn later as well. I'm sorry, I'm trying to catch up here. Yeah, Mike Williams, he did. That's the first time, Mike. I'm glad you said that. It reminded me of the podcast that Zach and Hannah did, Game of Thrones, which I talked about earlier. George R. R. Martin, first time I heard him say, House of the Dragon is running like a motherfucker. He actually said that. I was like, what? Damn, George? That was funny as hell. A really good podcast, though. I've still got like 20 minutes left. I was trying to finish it before we started this tonight, but my speaker, my Bluetooth speaker, when I was hopping in the shower, is dead, and my plug got chewed on by fucking cat holes. So, chicken to jail, southern haircut equals mullet. It really is. It's a mullet with where you tie a couple braids back, but other than that, it really is a mullet. Eric Williams just grabbed a hardcore cover of the Crimson Gods. Can't wait for the Netflix adaptation with Lizzo playing as Shea Black. Ooh, I like it, Eric. Do we know anybody at Netflix? Does anybody know anybody in the industry that would like to take a look at a self-published author and make a movie, a Netflix movie, or maybe even like a mini series or something out of a book? Does anybody know anybody? Let me know. That would be cool if I could pitch that book to Netflix. But I don't know how to write screenplays. I mean, I could probably write screenplays, but leave that to professionals. But thank you guys for picking up the book. I appreciate it. Oh, that would be cool. If we got like 4 or 5, if I won't be able to see them immediately, but like in the next hour, like 11 o'clock, you would literally see the numbers change, and we could literally, it doesn't take much in some of these categories to make a like number 1. I've been in the top 5 when on launch. We did launch and had pre-orders. I did make the top 5 or maybe 6. I think it was 6 actually. So it's been a number 1. It's been a number 100 bestseller, the top 100, but it's never been number 1. And if it reaches number 1, I could literally screen grab that and say it was a number 1 selling book and put that on the next cover. So that'd be cool. Beat it twice. Check my channel out for some clips of it. Got platinum trophy on PS5. Yeah, that's the other thing. I do need to grab a couple more trophies, but I hadn't done it yet. So I've been kind of back in the YouTube thing last couple weeks, and then doing these streams again. So I hadn't really played a lot of Elden Ring because I finished it twice, and I was just grinding some levels. I'm gonna get to 713 and walk around like a god, and then I'll go bully the bosses again. Musie's Modern Dreadfuls, isn't it the North has Southern accents? No, they have Northern accents. I don't know. I can't remember all the UK accents. But I don't know if it's the actual I think it is an actual Southern. I think what you're saying, I believe you're right, is an actual Southern accent for the Northern people in Game of Thrones. I think that's correct, but I don't know. Lucis, what a coincidence! He hadn't played Flight Sim in a couple weeks. I have played it. I played it the other night. I just didn't stream it. I played it. And we flew F-22 Raptors around. Man, I think I told you that. But I have not streamed anything, obviously, on Twitch in a couple weeks. That's a little over a week. Mike Williams, this doesn't violate canon or the plot. They made a choice. Yeah, no, it won't whatsoever. Sensational Cinema, sounding a bit shallow here, but the Daemon Targaryen actor is not good looking, and his wig makes it worse. I was expecting more attractive prince. I've heard people say that before. Sensational. That's not unfounded. Matt Damon is a great actor, so he'll play Daemon very well. I don't like his look. I'll have to get used to it. There's something off about his look, and the wig does make. I totally agree. I understand what you're saying. It's like when you expected Rhaegar to have this long flowing hair and whatever, and it was short, and I didn't like it. Although he looked fine, but yeah, Matt's got a kind of a. I love Matt Damon. Don't get me wrong. I love Matt Damon. Matt Smith. I love Matt Smith, but it does look off for some reason to me. But I think like a couple shots though I saw, and you saw in the teaser, especially like the gold cloak scene. Then he kind of looked more like I pictured Daemon. So it's kind of like everything. We didn't know we only knew the description of Jon Snow, and now you can't unsee Kit Harington ever, right? So I think it'll kind of be one of those things. But yeah, those little things we'll have to just deal with. I'm just more worried about. I'm not really worried about anything. I think it's going to be an outstanding. I think you have Ryan Condal and Miguel Sapochnik, and you have source material. No Dan and Dave. I think this is outstanding story. It's definitely going to be a good story. It's going to be sad and shitty in parts, and it's going to be cool and amazing and all this other stuff. So I'm really looking forward to it. But will they ever erase the ending of season 8 for me? No, of course not. I just don't like it. But that's just my opinion. So it can't be undone. But if you are, I don't know, like I understand the idea where people say season 8 sucked. I don't like the ending of Game of Thrones. I know where it all ends, so why do I care about the Targaryens during 200 years or 170 years earlier? I understand that to a degree, but if you start thinking about it, I mean, Westeros and Essos are giant places, and there are so many stories to tell. It's kind of like Star Wars. You don't have to talk about Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, Han Solo to enjoy good Star Wars stories, right? Now, it helps that you like how Star Wars ends, the original trilogy, for sure, but it doesn't have any bearing on, say, the Old Republic era or something like that. So that's the way I look at it, and I think it's going to be outstanding. I don't think they want to repeat what happened with Scott. Haynes, they do a good point. Maybe do a quick catch up on the first minute of the show for non-readers. Well, here's the other thing. Let me mention this really quickly. So we talked about a little bit about the Great Council. They're definitely going to open with the Great Council, and it's going to set this precedent of them kind of bypassing the women at the time, which is, again, that's the politics of the time. That's what I mean about focusing on that era of the story and not modern politics. But it's going to set the precedent of Rhaenys being passed up, and then Queen Alicent and Jaehaerys have their second big falling out for a while, and I don't know if they'll go into all that detail, but they'll certainly mention that. It'll set the precedent up and kind of the foreshadowing of what's coming, because Viserys does end up naming Rhaenyra his heir, and that's what causes the whole problem. Once, which is the next thing I want to talk really quick is Queen Alicent, because it's going to focus a lot on the young Alicent and Rhaenyra and their relationship, because they're really close. They're good friends, but then, of course, later on, Alicent marries Viserys and becomes her stepmother, and they're still good friends and close during that period as well, until Alicent has her son Aegon, and she has Aegon, Helena, and then Aemond. So she has kids with her father, and now she's still heir to the Iron Throne. Rhaenyra is, and now all of a sudden Alicent is like, wait a minute, I know she's the heir, but now I have my own kids, and one of which is a son, two of which are sons. The eldest being obviously Aegon. And so now, don't you think, I'm saying like she's talking to Viserys here, or she's thinking this either way, because Viserys don't want anything to do with it. He still says, nope, my daughter Rhaenyra is the heir. And that's when the feelings start to change between them. So you're going to see a lot of drama start to occur between the two queens, right? You have, Rhaenyra, the waiting heir, Princess of Dragonstone, and then the actual sitting queen, Queen Alicent, marries her father after his first wife, Rhaenyra, died, and they had no sons. So that's when you're going to start seeing the relationship change, and that's going to be really good drama. So that's the thing they'll really focus on too. You'll see a lot of the young characters. I don't think you'll see old Rhaenyra for a while. Actually, I don't know how many episodes. Or maybe they do some flip-flopping in the same episodes or something, possibly. But I don't think it's all going to be just a flashback type thing. I think you'll see some episodes that are, 10 years earlier, and you'll see their relationship. They're really close, and that's when you see the shots on the beach that we saw in the leaked photos, where they're, Rhaenyra's already a dragon rider. She's, I think she started riding a dragon at 7, and Queen Alicent's obviously from House Hightower. She's not a dragon rider in any way, shape, or form, but they're really close. And then later on, she took care of the old king, King Jaehaerys. He actually died with her reading to him. So Alicent's always been at court with her father being handed the king and stuff. And he's a real bastard too. So you'll see all that, the dynamics there. And then you'll get into their relationship, and as it starts to kind of fall apart when she has kids and marries the king. So that's got to be awkward, right? Imagine your best friend all of a sudden marrying your dad, right? And then y'all have kids. They have kids, and now your friend who married your dad has kids, and she wants those kids to be the next king or queen or whatever. So imagine that kind of relationship. So you got that. Then you have, I think we'll see a little bit of the War of the Stepstones for sure. This was when Daemon, he hated the Vale. His wife was in the Vale at the time. And he's like, I'm going to be king of something. Because Daemon was always wanting to be king. He wanted to be heir to the Iron Throne. He always wanted to rule. That was his thing, obviously, like a lot of people. So he had ambition. So he said, fuck it, I'm going to go take over the Stepstones because I want to be king of something. So this is why he's called the Rogue Prince. He leaves and takes off, and Viserys supports him. He says, let him play at war. It keeps him out of trouble. So you're going to see him team up with Daemon, team up with Corlys Valeron, obviously Lord of the Tides, the Sea Snake himself, and take over the Stepstones. So you'll see all that. This is the lands. And Corlys joins him because being a seafarer, he has to deal with taxes. And he's on the richest house in Westeros at the time because he has traveled all over the world and all this stuff. But he has to pay all these taxes. And the Triarchy, which is a army based out of Essos, the three places in Essos, they are controlling the Stepstones and these high taxes. So Corlys says, fuck it, I'll help him. Now, he's got this massive navy that he controls anyway, which is the royal, essentially, that provides most of the ships for the royal navy in Westeros to Viserys. He goes off and helps him. So you're going to see some really cool battles there. You're going to see, that's probably the first dragon action we'll see besides just flying around. I think we'll see Daemon take Caraxes to the Stepstones and burning shit down and ships and all that kind of stuff against the Triarchy. So he goes and does that. He does that for a while, but then he gets bored again. His wife actually dies, supposedly by accident, in the Vale. So he leaves Bloodstone, his seat on the, he becomes king of the Stepstones. So that's Bloodstone. He leaves there to go back to the Vale, but they say hell no. And that's you saw Royce, House Royce and all that in Game of Thrones. So they're the Lords of Runestone. They tell him to fuck off. So then he's like, okay, what now? And then that's when he kind of gets back involved with main politics in King's Landing and goes back to his brother and offers him his crown. So you're going to see a lot of that kind of stuff too. That's going to be a really cool story in and of itself. So I think you'll see a lot of that in season 1, the War for the Stepstones. Really, there's some really cool characters that you'll see there. You'll see like I said, the Triarchy, which is Leesmere and Tyros, I believe, and that'll be the army. Later on, they have some Dornish allies as well, so Dorne kind of gets mixed up in that a little bit later on. I don't know how deep they'll go, but I think that's something you'll definitely see with the early, probably season 1, because it's going to start in if it's going to start in 101 AC with the council, the dance don't actually start until 129. So you have 29, 28 years to play with. So we're going to see a lot of this early stuff in season 1, I think, to set up. You're not going to see any Targaryens killing Targaryens until like probably, I don't know, season 2, 3. I don't know what it would be exactly, but a lot of stuff has to happen before all the actual dragon on dragon fighting. All right, I'm sorry. I know I'm behind here. Let's see. I'm sorry. I'm trying to find where I was. I know I lost a lot scrolled there. I'm sorry. While I was rambling. This is why I like to do more Q&As and just let topics come up as opposed to like planning stuff. But I wanted to mention those few things because I did title this season 1, so I think season 1 will focus on, again, Rhaenyra, Alicent, their relationship as it kind of starts off really well. Daemon setting him up as a rogue prince. We'll see the war for the Stepstones. You'll see the council, obviously, that kind of sets the precedent of what's the dance is going to be about because they're bypassing Targaryen women, all that good stuff. So we're going to see all that kind of get set up there in season 1. And, you know, that's essentially what's going to happen, I believe. Jessica getting more and more excited. Yeah, so what's making you get more and more excited, Jessica? See, there's so much stuff to do. There's so much stuff to do, man. That's what I'm saying. These are going to be great stories. Yeah, no, I was saying Matt's playing Damon Penn, so I said Matt Damon. Might as well start calling him Matt Damon, right? That's got to be a thing. Let's see. I'm going back and seeing all the Matt Damon comments. Yeah, Lady Jen, $20 million per episode. Yeah, is what they have. Big CGI budget, exactly, and that'll grow too. You know, when they order season 2, it'll get bigger. It has to. Breno Santos, it's going to be good because they will focus mainly on Westeros politics between families. Yep, and that's what makes good drama, right? It's not the big action scenes. They're great. Don't get me wrong. You got to have it. We love to see it, right? I don't know why I said that. I always want to say that. Love to see it. But that's what made Game of Thrones so great is the politics between the families. You know, obviously it was Starks and Lannisters and Baratheons and all that stuff. And now it's just going to be, at first, it'll just be like pretty standard. But then it will kind of be Velaryon a little bit, even though they've always been allies, Targaryen and Velaryon. There'll be some stuff there because of Rhaenys and their kids, and then they end up kind of getting resolved. But then Targaryen itself splits, you know, and that's going to be the big political thing, obviously. So there's a lot of stuff to do. Stefan, this show is going to be incredible. HBO has one chance to hook us all back in for the 10 damn show ideas they have and wanted to produce. One chance, it'll be savage. Fucking bring it. I agree, man. I agree, and I think if they do this right, which I think they will, I think for sure this will bring people. A lot of people are still saying, I'm not going to do it. They broke my heart. Season 8. Hey, look, they broke my heart. It's still broken. They broke my channel, which is kind of my fault too. They broke my wallet. All of that was connected for me, so it was even more. So I get it, man. I'm mad about it still, and I'll probably never not be mad about it. We had a successful YouTube channel. Still love y'all, the community, and that's what it's all about anyway. But on the realistic side, you have to make money, and you had all that stuff going, and that all just literally died, and it really destroyed me for 2.5 years. So I want to see this kind of do well and do good again, and I really enjoy hanging out with you guys like this right now and talking about it. This is what this channel was intended to be, you know. Hell, it may just become a live stream channel. I mean, I don't know about. One thing I don't look forward to is the rush of it, because during the season, excuse me, for at least those 10 weeks, you have the live stream right after the show. Then you have to watch it again and do I like to do those little previews for the next episode, and then you do the like in-depth review and breakdown and all that stuff, and it's all like a rush, and that gets old. But I mean, I'm happy to do it for 10 weeks, but that's 10 weeks of no sleep for this, at least for me. But I really look forward to it, and I hope we get some. I hope we recapture some of that magic, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Bolting Vulture, what's up, Bolting? Are we getting a cold open, or should I say a hot? Hot open Dargans and such to start House of Dragon, and what would it show? I think we will. I said earlier, Bolting, that we're going to open with the council. So maybe it's as simple as, you know, dragons flying to the council, which will be at Harrenhal, by the way. It could be, I don't know. I'd have to think about it. I'm trying to think of a good. I think, though, it would open with the actual council to set the precedent, but the scenes maybe leading up to that where Targaryens are showing up, because obviously they're flying around on dragons. It's basically like a fucking car to them, where everybody else has to still ride horses and bring in wagons and all that stuff from everywhere across the realm. So it'll be almost like I could see something like, you know, Daemon or although 101 it wouldn't be, but, you know, Rhaenys, for example, because the Targaryens at this time are still almost godlike to people, not like it used to be in previous, you know, when Aegon took over and stuff, but these people can ride fucking dragons. Think about that, you know, and not everybody is like an asshole, but they almost see themselves that way, kind of like Viserys did in Game of Thrones, Dany's brother Viserys. And I can almost see like that kind of angle where you see people down on the ground, right, riding horses and caravans or whatever to come into this council that the king called, and then the Targaryens are like above them, like physically above them, and that would be obviously symbolic in some way. And they kind of looking down on them. I can see something like that where you see that kind of thing, and it sets up that kind of precedent. So something like that will be, you know, will certainly be shown in some way, I would imagine. Yeah, Mike, I did. I was going to mention that too. I'm glad you said it. Thanks, Mike. Germ did say that on the podcast of Zach and Hannah's Game of Owns. Y'all can check that out, by the way. It's a good podcast. I got lucky enough to meet them at the first Con of Thrones. They hung out at our house for a couple days that weekend. He's actually, Zach and Hannah, they set the first Con of Thrones up. It was not the other people that are running it now. They are the ones who decided to invite YouTubers like myself and other YouTubers that you guys know, and put them on panels and stuff. So I got to meet them and hang out with them for a couple days, and it was cool. But that he did say in the podcast that you know, Viserys to him was just kind of a filler character between kings or whatever, and he didn't really connect with him. But Paddy Constantine, apparently this performance, he's around all season, at least I'm guessing the first 9 episodes. He really thinks that it really brought him to life, and he likes him better now as a character. So he wanted to like improve on that in his own writing. Ask the Cheese. You asked this before about Val. She doesn't do YouTube anymore, dude. I don't know. I don't really know what's going on, so I doubt that's going to happen, because you got to remember, as far as predictions, character predictions go, there's no real predictions. We know what happens. You know what I mean? We don't know the details, but we do know what happens. Raina Marie, thank you so much for the super chat. I'm sorry. I saw that pop up, and I was in the middle of a rambling. So thank you, Raina Marie, for the $5 super sticker. I guess super chat. Thank you very much. That really helps a lot. I appreciate it. Thank you, Raina. Good to see you, by the way. Hadn't seen Raina Marie in a while. Glad to see you back. Speaking of old friends, Randy Suimatsu there. There he is. Yes, you're late, Randy. You're late. You are in timeout. Let's put Randy in timeout for being late. He missed all my ranting and stuff. I'm already getting hoarse over here. I'm rambling too much. Thank you, Randy. Appreciate you coming by, man. Let's see. Okay, I don't know. I'll tell you what, guys. Give me 1 second. Let me go grab another drink. My throat is itching. Give me 1 second. I'll put on you some good music. Don't go anywhere. We got plenty more. And give me 1 second, and I will be right back. Alrighty. Oh, what is that? What is that trash? All right. Sorry. That's horrible. Horrible. What the hell was this? Oh, shit. Riddick's here wouldn't like to say hello. Here, let's see if I can I move this camera down to the Riddick? Look up here, bud. Look. Hey. Riddick says hello. What? I don't have anything. He wants a BONE, and I do not have any. Sorry. Okay, there we go. Something like that. Close enough. All right, Lady Jen, have a good one. Sorry, that was probably 10 minutes ago. I apologize. I'm trying to catch up on comments here. Good night, Lady Jen. Thank you for continued support and everything, being a channel member, all that good stuff. Dan, I think Jon Snow will return to Winterfell because Sansa will need him. She made sure that North would remain as separate kingdom. In theory, Jon could return from exile. Yeah, I mean, I think he has to. He's got to go back to West. They can't just film it up above, beyond the wall. That would be pretty boring. He's got to go back. I don't think it can work if he don't. I don't think he and Tormund carry a show alone up north with. I mean, they could introduce they could do like Val and stuff from the books, but Val's like we don't even know if she survives. You know, we don't even know if she survives the book. So I mean, I don't know how they're gonna do that. But yeah, they would. Breno. That's what I was gonna say. We talked about that the other week. Is the Jon Snow thing? They have to bring back all some of those characters, and some will be happy to come back. Let's see. A new smoke break? I don't know. I haven't really thought about since this show's coming. Really going to focus on because I want to talk Stranger Things a little bit, so I thought about doing one. So I may do one or something to cover some Stranger Things stuff since that's over now. Talk a little Westworld because I'm watching Westworld again. And I think it's pretty good again this year. I didn't like seasons 2 and 3 that great, so I may do something like that. But those don't seem to be. I mean, a couple people like them. I like the format, but I mean, those are like not really edited. They're more like a podcast. So I may do that more of a podcast. And if I do that every week, then I would put it on like iTunes and all that stuff as well. So I may do that, but I haven't really thought about it much lately. But I do enjoy that format of the smoke break where I can talk about a little bit of everything in little segments and then break them up. So. Bob Fisher, what's up, Bob? How you doing, man? SmokeScreen, Talking Thrones, live on a Sunday night. Yeah, man, we've been back for a couple weeks now. We didn't last week because of July 4th, but we've started to come back and do these live streams. We talked Jon Snow, we talked to Obi-Wan Kenobi, but now we're back on House of the Dragon because we only have 6 weeks from today, and so we wanted to start this up again, obviously, so we can do the follow-ups, obviously, post-show live streams. Rahman is doing Sensational Cinema. Rahman is doing the music for Dragons 2, so he is back. So the music's going to be outstanding. You know this. You got the best director they had. Miguel Sapochnik is the showrunner. Ryan Condal, who is an Ice and Fire expert on all things books. And then you have the best music guy in the business, so it cannot be bad. You know what I mean? So he's definitely back. Let's see. The Dance of the Dragons basically because Rhaenyra said "fuck them kids." No, it's because the Greens. It's because fucking Alicent Hightower said "fuck them kids" and her dad. They're the instigating assholes. Look, there's going to be 2 teams here. Team Black and Team Green. And I'm firmly on Team Green already, just saying that up front. I think you're probably weird if you're on Team Green. Just saying. You can be. That's fine. But I think you're kind of weird if you see this and then like Team Green. Anyway, yeah, that's my big baby boy. He'll be 9 in October, Raina. I mean, it's crazy how time flies. There's Steph Snow up in the building. Look at Steph Snow in here creeping in. Is Miguel directing it himself? I believe so. I don't know. I don't have a list of all the directors. I know there's a couple other people too, but he is the showrunner. But I'm sure he will direct some himself. I don't know. Maybe we do have directors out. I think there may be a list of like episodes. Let's see if there is House of the Dragon episode, because somebody mentioned earlier the length of the first one, episodes. And let's see. They believe they have some directors on there. No, that's not there yet. Episode guide on IMDb. No. Yeah, they don't have any. They don't have any details on here yet. So I don't know, but I'm just going to assume that he will direct some episodes. I have no doubt that he would. So anyway, basically, all the ranting I did earlier, I apologize, but I wanted to mention those couple things because I think that's essentially what's going to make up season 1 is those you got 10 years to play with right before the dance in 129. So you got from 20 years. You got from 101 to 129 when the dance actually starts. You got years to play with there. So you're going to see all this kind of set up in their younger selves a lot in season 1. Candy Mandy is Team Green up in here. That's the first hashtag Team Green. We'll see a lot of that too. We'll have to get Team Black hashtag shirts made. Maybe that'll be a new shirt we can do in the store. And maybe Candy, I don't know. Maybe I'll do a Team Green when the people want those too. But I'm going to hide something on there is that I think you're weird if you like the high towers. No, that will be fun though. If we get Jessica, where are you going? It's only 11 o'clock. You ain't going nowhere. We got 100. Well, how did it go from 103 to 75 in 2 seconds? You can't go anywhere yet, Jessica. I don't know what you're trying to do. We keep going from like 100 something and drops back down to 70. That's weird. Probably not accurate. Good night, Jessica. Have a good one. I know you got to get in bed. Fine, Jessica. Leave us hanging. Appreciate it, Jessica. Appreciate you stopping by, though. Candy, got to say, though, first Team Green person I've seen. You might be the only one. Gazelle, what's up? How you doing? Do you think another Night King will be reborn? No, I don't think so. The Night King is done and over with. Now, during House of the Dragon, he does exist. So will they do some nods to things like that? Potentially. There is a story they may mention it. It didn't happen. It happened during King Jaehaerys' reign, which again we'll see the Great Council when he's still alive. I don't know if we'll actually see him or not. But good Queen Alicent, she did fly to the Wall and Winterfell, etc. And she flew to the Wall, and that's what the land below the Wall called the Gift is from. She gave that land to the Night's Watch. She was actually really appreciative of the Night's Watch and what they did. And she went and visited the Wall. But her dragon, Silverwing, would not fly beyond the Wall for some reason. Now, obviously, we know why now. But during, in those books and stories, she doesn't know. Nobody knows why. It didn't. Like Silverwing physically would not go beyond the Wall because of the Night King, obviously, but they didn't know why. So they may do some little shout outs, some Easter egg things like that or something, but there's no Night King. He's dead and gone. There's not going to be any Night King. Like with the Jon Snow show where people were talking about, what could happen in that show. You can't have another Night King. You can't have more White Walkers. It would undermine the whole story of like the idea of he's the first one and you kill him and they all die. So you're not going to see any more White Walkers or anything like that. Now, I will say for House of the Dragon, we could see Children of the Forest. there are children of the forest still, even after Game of Thrones. Now, we're talking about obviously 170 years before that, but even in Game of Thrones, which is why I hated they didn't include this, that I think they certainly will in the books because there's too much evidence for it, are children of the forest at the Isle of Faces and the God's Eye. Now, we're going to see the God's Eye. I won't spoil anything. We're definitely going to see the lake, the God's Eye. Now, we could see the Isle of Faces. There is an important little event. It's not, I don't know if you call it an important event, but there's two people that's ever been that we know of in this story to go to the Isle of Faces. That is, of course, you know Ned's best friend from Game of Thrones that we never saw, Howland Reed. He went to the Isle of Faces. He supposedly learned with the children of the forest, the green seers there. The other person to go to the Isle of Faces happens near the end of this dance called Adam Valerian. He's a dragon rider, and he flies there and then wants to prove he's not a sellout or whatever because he was a bastard at one point. He goes there, and whatever, you don't know what happens there, but he wins some battles after that and gets and builds some armies. So we may see that place, and if you do see the place, then maybe we see some children. So we could see something like that for sure. That'll be a little later, but that would be certainly possible. Christian, that's what I was saying earlier. Val's really not doing YouTube anymore. I haven't, so I don't know. We'll see. Haynes Nation Q&A, rank the Star Wars movies. Oh, Lord. Also, did you hear the original ideas that were changed from Revenge of the Jedi? The original version of Return of the Jedi, still like Westworld. The Star Wars movies? Okay. Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, New Hope. You could switch up that a little bit. Empire, probably number one. New Hope, Jedi, you could flip-flop it. If you're talking about individual movies, I'll look at this whole thing as one big story, but that's just me. So then you go to Revenge of the Sith, Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, probably, and I do not count any of the sequels. They're not Star Wars. 7's fine. You can put 7 after that if you want. Episode 7. That's fine. It did what it's supposed to do, introduce new characters. The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker were not Star Wars movies. They were complete trash. I saw JJ try to save a couple things in Episode 9, but you cannot undo The Last Jedi, which is complete horrible trash. So those movies do not count, and that's just for me and a lot of other people, and that's all there is to it. So there you go. There's a loose, but I've always looked at it as one story. Different chapters of one story. Let's see. Zara, I'll wait to join a team since I haven't read the books. Zara, I respect the choice. Let me just say, though, that you'll probably choose Team Black. You're not going to be like Candy Mandy. That's just odd to me. I'm just messing with you, Candy. You can like who you want. It's not that I don't like certain characters on that team. I do. But you're talking about Alicent and Kristen Cole and Otto Hightower and Aegon the Third, Aegon the Second. Oh Lord, what she was kind of corrupted by the whole thing. So there'll be some more detail in there that it'll make me like some of those people more than I do reading books. But yeah, Team Black here all the way. I'm just saying that right up front. Rhaenyra, my shepherd passed a year ago, and then my boxer passed this past January. Absolutely hard. Oh my God. I'm sorry, Rhaenyra. I didn't know that. I hadn't talked to you in a long time. I hate that. I don't remember your shepherd being that old. I don't know, was it age or? I don't know what I'm going to do, man. I'm going to have to get me a puppy before another German shepherd because this is my son right here. He goes everywhere with me. He follows me around the house. He's my best buddy. It just might kill me. Bolting, will the show stay truer to Ice Fire canon than GOT canon? We have already seen the throne being more Ice and Fire accurate, but perhaps since Fire and Blood is historical account, it may not be so. I think that's what they're going to do, bolting. But I also think at the same time they have to kind of. It is the Game of Thrones is the canon of TV anyway. It's the story that he sold to HBO, Ice and Fire. And I do think they'll try to keep it as the locations and all that the same as possible. They may not explain why they, for example, tore up all the extra swords. They did make it more book accurate, but it's not even close to the books, as you know. But it does look cool. So will they explain? I don't think they will ever. You'd have to have a prequel to Game of Thrones to explain why it looks the way it looks in Game of Thrones. So. With that said, I do think that they still keep the locations and that stuff canonical, I guess, or whatever, because you don't really have to worry about continuity. They're working before, right? The show, so the main show. So I think like Dragonstone is still going to be the same look and all that stuff. Harrenhal. Obviously, you'll get more of Harrenhal this time. You're going to see some major stuff at Harrenhal. Obviously, some battles there. Again, the Council, episode 1, you're going to see Harrenhal. It's still going to be melted already from Aegon the Conqueror. So we saw Tywin and Harrenhal, all that stuff as well. That's when Arya and Gendry were there and stuff. But you're going to see those locations. I think they have to be pretty much the same, but you'll get some more probably detail. Bob, did you hear about Germ saying that he may change things from the final season when he finished the Winds? Yeah, I listened. That's what we were talking about earlier, Bob. The podcast that Zach and Hannah had with. I listened to that all day today and yesterday. Finished it. I'm sorry. I did say earlier. I was on the last 20 minutes. So I was trying to finish it before we did this live stream. But yeah, he's still. I read his blog post and. It's still the same thing I've been saying. It doesn't change my opinion on the ending because he did still say, yes, there's some characters that's not going to die and some characters that survive Game of Thrones that won't survive Ice and Fire and vice versa. But he still gave the big parts to Dan and Dave. I don't think he's going to change the big parts. He can't because the books have foreshadowing and things leading to that and all those things that set it up. You can't change all that from 5 books. So, will we see obviously the conclusion of the Dornish storyline and Arianne Martell? Yes, absolutely. She wasn't in Game of Thrones. Will Bran be king? Yes. Will Dany go Mad Queen? Yes, unfortunately. Will Jon be north of the Wall? Probably. But it's not going to be, all the details different, sure. I keep having to say this because again, he said this himself before. So if you take this as what he said from this podcast as the absolute truth, you have to take what he said before as absolute truth. And he did say that he don't think it's going to be that different from Dan and Dave's because of the conversations they had. So, will it be better? Probably. Absolutely, because there's so many more characters and other storylines to wrap up and details and stuff like that, sure. But it'll never fix the show. Unfortunately, the show is burnt in people's mind. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of people not going to finish the books, even if they were published, because they know the major things will be the same. And they just didn't like it. And I didn't either. Even if... even if it was exactly, let's say the books were done and Dan and Dave did like they did in seasons 1 through 4, which was a perfect translation almost, as good as you can get from an adaptation standpoint. You cannot, I just did not like this ending. I didn't like, and again, yes, they changed some things, sure. Will we have some weird council that doesn't involve Jon? I don't know. Those kind of things could be better. But it doesn't change the fact that they took Dany and made her into this monster. I get the idea. Don't get me wrong. I get the idea. Look, I've read Shakespeare and I've read tragedies. But it's just my personal opinion. I just don't like that ending. It was just bad to me. So I'm not going to like his ending either, as far as the main beats, right? Is what I'm saying. So I don't put it all on. And look, I've bitched enough about Dan and Dave. We all have. But I'm not putting it all on them. I have to. George R. R. Martin is not perfect either. Let's be honest. So I think it's odd. I just think it. I think it's odd that people won't criticize him. And I'm not saying you should or have to or anything. I'm just saying anything that's public like that, like shows and books and whatever, are open to criticism. Just like I get reviews on my book, and some people like it and some people don't. I think it's odd when you have this community on YouTube and Twitter and all these Ice and Fire channels and podcasts and stuff like that, where they can beat Dan and Dave over the head as much as they want, but they will never, ever criticize George R. R. Martin. And I don't understand that, if it makes sense. Not that I want to criticize him. I'm not saying like, I think he's a genius. I think he's brilliant in most ways, but I think he makes mistakes too. I think he'll be the first to tell you that, and I don't understand the idea that he cannot be criticized. So it's not all Dan and Dave, is all I'm saying for Game of Thrones. I saw Nat there, Team Lime Green. What? Nailed it. What? Are you saying lime green? Are you saying lime green, Nat? Or what do you? Of course, Nat. Nat, you would be. I bet Nat will pick Team Green. I bet you she will. When she gets into this show, she'll be on Team Green side for some reason. I bet you 100% she will. She's just weird like that. I'm just telling you. As somebody who's known her for 5 years. That's okay. We accept green and black team members here. Peach, really don't understand why they didn't make the throne look as iconic as in the books. Yeah, I mean, I guess, you got to remember, Pete, the episode 1 pilot was a failure. They had to fix that. They didn't have the money. It was like I know that sounds like a lot. What was it, 5 or 10 million they had for the pilot of Game of Thrones, right? Or something like that. Then they had to reshoot it, half of it. They replaced actors. Obviously, Emilia Clarke came in, stuff like that. I wish we could see that, by the way. So I think it was just more of and they had you got to think the marketing aspect, Peach. They knew that if to promote it, they started carrying around that throne and moving it to places to start promoting the show, and they had to make it manageable to put on a truck. The different thrones they made for conventions and Comic Cons and promotional stuff. So that's certainly part of it too. Bob Fisher, love dogs, but it's a lot of work. I live in Chicago. Couldn't have a dog without a yard. Yeah, no, there's no way I could live in a city, man. That's why I can't, man, Bob. I don't understand you guys who can live in a little city with no yard and no trees around you and animals that can't run freely. I have a 105, 110-pound German Shepherd, and he is it's a big undertaking. You're absolutely correct. He's got a lot of energy. They have to run and exercise every single day, and it's not always convenient, and it's not always pretty weather. You know what I'm saying? I don't get y'all concrete jungle people. I like to visit cities, but I damn sure wouldn't live there. But more power to you. More power to you. Randy Sumatsu, Team Dragon. Yeah, well, I mean, that's just you got to pick Randy. You got to pick Randy Sumatsu. You can't just say Team Dragon, man. There's dragons on both sides. I'm just on the side of Daemon and Rhaenyra. Rhaenyra is the rightful queen. I think a lot of people will seriously see Dany in Rhaenyra. I think you'll absolutely see Dany and Rhaenyra. As a matter of fact, I would think that he wrote Game of Thrones and those books first before he did Fire and Blood, but he had some general backstory. He had notes and stuff jotted down for his sidebars from A World of Ice and Fire, and that's where all these books came from. I think he saw Rhaenyra as a kind of a older version of Dany. And I say older in history. Dany essentially became another version of Rhaenyra in some way. So I think people will see Dany a lot in Rhaenyra in the situation with all that stuff as well. Mike, you're right. Martin played a role, a major role. No, I agree, man. That's I've always said this, man. On these live stream and stuff, and I've said it in videos. Dan and Dave, you can say what you want about them. It is what it is, and I don't disagree. But the idea that you can't, I don't know, criticize George R. R. Martin for some of his choices is just ridiculous. He's a public figure, he's a public author, and you don't have to like everything he does. You don't have to think he's a perfect god, you know, the best writer of all time. You don't have to like any of it. I love, he's one of my favorite authors, but that's what people will have to stop and think about when we have these little conversations about whether it's shows or movies or plays or music. We criticize things because we enjoy them. And that doesn't mean we have any better answers. Like a lot of people say, well, what would you have done? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because maybe I would have done something different. Maybe I do have an answer for that. Maybe I don't. Still don't have to like everything that he does and writes. There's some parts of the books that I just don't care about. I never cared about Lady Stoneheart, for example. A lot of people loved Lady Stoneheart and wanted to see her in the show. Now, that probably stems from my dislike for Catelyn Stark, but I'm not supposed to like every Stark. In the books, Catelyn and Sansa specifically are the Starks that you're not supposed to really enjoy. Sansa sells out her family for Joffrey in the books. Why am I supposed to like Sansa? You know what I'm saying? I don't understand that idea that every Stark's got to be perfect. They're not. Sansa is a character that's controversial and Catelyn and stuff because that's how she's written. That's what he intended. So that's the beautiful thing about it, though. We can get together. We can all enjoy these shows and books and movies as a whole, but we may have disagreements about certain things or scenes or characters, and that's fine. We can talk about it. But let's be honest about it is all I'm saying. There's Dustin, not Saga, up in here. I don't know about Thor. Yeah, it's Dustin. I think me and Eric talked today. The more you think about Thor, the less I like it. It was fun. It was a fun movie. A lot of aspects, and there was some really good stuff, and there was some stuff that was We talked a little bit about it earlier, Dustin. I mentioned it earlier in the stream. Peach is replying to Bolting Vulture. I think that's why D&D get all the hate. Everyone knows they could have gone for several more seasons and fleshed out. Instead, they bailed. Yeah, no, that's true. But you got also, Peach, just to be fair, they always said that they wanted to do 7 seasons. HBO and George R. R. Martin wanted 10 to 13 seasons. They did say that from the very beginning because they were doing it a season per book. Now, he was supposed to have the books done. When he didn't have the books done, they ended up basically taking the 7th season and splitting it into 2, which is why we had less episodes. So you're right. They could have certainly gone, and they tried to get them to stay longer and all that stuff. But I also can understand they had been working on this thing a decade. I do understand the idea of, look, we got to move on. We can't do this forever. I do understand that from a personal perspective. Now, did they screw it up? Absolutely. They should have basically said, look, if y'all are going to do only 8 seasons, because they did agree to 8 after the whole negotiation thing, then what we'll do is we'll have you pass it off to somebody else, and we'll continue it for another 3, 4, whatever. Yes, that should have happened. So I understand both sides of it. They had, and like you're saying, Randy, in truth, their writing was better when they had material to base it off of. Even with the beats, I think Jerem would handle it in a way that might be palatable, but it ain't going to ever happen. No, I agree. I mean, yeah, you got to think about it. Dan and Dave were absolutely loved for the first 4, in a lot of cases, 5 seasons. 5 was based off Winds of Winter. I'm sorry, Dance with Dragons, John dying, and all that stuff. The people had issues with 5. I didn't have so much, but it did start to break away a little bit. But seasons 1 through 4, they were TV gods, right? I mean, it was the best adaptation I think they've ever done. Anybody has ever done. unless you consider maybe Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings, which are, again, probably some of my favorite movies of all time. It was the best TV adaptation, I think, in history, seasons 1 through 4. So how did it get so bad? You know, even when you get the authors telling you all these big things, well, who knows? That's where the hate comes from, and and a lot of it is deserved. I'm not saying they don't deserve any hate, believe me. That's all I'm saying is let's not forget there was supposed to be books done. So fewer. I can always count on Mazuma to be my Stannis. And honestly, I plant those all over the place and see if somebody says that. Love it, love it. Rhaenyra, I was looking, Rhaenyra. I'm sorry, I did not see your response, if you responded at all. There's Hoonjive. Look at this dude. Hoonjive is up in the chat here. Can't wait for a certain dragon battle. Yeah, that's there's some epic dragon battles, Hoonjive, for sure. The first one will be, I'll just say, it'll involve Storm's End. The first one, not the one you're talking about, probably. Is really the first blood, I would say, in the actual dance. We'll see it happen near, not at, but near Storm's End. So we're going to see Storm's End in this show, which is another big thing. We never get to see Storm's End. We only hear about it in Game of Thrones. So, Hooper, what if it's Aegon who blows King's Landing in the books, not Dany? Well, that's certainly possible. I don't know, though, because it doesn't fit the... Remember, they had all the stuff that Dany did, right? She crucified slavers and all that stuff. She had her moments of, I will take what's mine with fire and blood, and you'll be the first city to burn. She is the one threatening to burn cities, and which is essentially foreshadowing. So Aegon is not even he's trying to maybe marry her and get he's not even a dragon rider. Obviously, he's not even Aegon, so I don't think he can ride a dragon in the first place. Is it possible? Sure. Yeah, we'll see how they do Fagon, but we call him Fagon for a reason. But Steph's, no, I can't stand Germ. Yeah, Steph's got an issue with Germ. I understand Steph. I like him, but I do understand the criticism for sure. And Randy, you're saying the criticism of Germ is he's too distracted or pressured or stoned or something. He could be a combination of all. Yeah, I thought it was odd. He really shifted gears. I did a video on that one video, Winter is Not Coming. That's the title and the thumbnail. He really shifted gears. His whole tone changed from 3 years ago. I'm not doing anything until I finish The Winds of Winter. I'm not writing any other books. I'm not doing any editing. I'm not doing any TV. I'm not doing any even book forwards for anybody. I'm finishing The Winds of Winter. It's the most important thing. And then I did this video, last month, 2 months ago, whatever it was, where he completely changed and said, now Westeros is the most important thing, not the book itself, because it's just a part of Westeros. So the TV stuff, he just wants everything to be a show and to create this. But, dude, you're not going to create a legacy unless you have books that are done. Or at least finished by somebody, if that's the case. If the last book has to be finished by somebody. If you don't have your own books that are standalone books that have nothing to do with TV shows, there is no legacy. So that's where I think he's fucking up, honestly. All right, I'm trying to scroll down. Pete, stop making sense. I'm sorry. I know. I'm sorry. This is the way I approach everything, as you know. I approach everything, every video I do. I'm not going to come on here and pretend, hey, it's Game of Thrones. It's so perfect. It's House of the Dragon is perfect or whatever. A lot of people are mad at me for not liking season 8, and that's fine. You can have your own opinions and not like me or be mad at me or whatever, but I'm not going to go on live streams and post show, and then in the reviews, and just pretend everything was hunky dory because I loved the first 5 seasons, and then I'll 6 and 7 were fine. I think they were fine. There were certainly problems, but 8 just, and of course 8, you got to remember, one of the best episodes of all time was season 8, episode 2, right? I mean, they're at Winterfell. Brienne gets knighted. They have all the conversation with all the characters we love in the same place. Sansa and Jon back together in Winterfell, all that stuff. That was one of the best episodes of the entire series. But I didn't come on and pretend that everything was great in the last few episodes, and then starting really at episode 3. Your actual prologue, both book and show, were White Walkers and the mystery beyond the wall, and there was always the hint of it throughout the seasons. But then you take season 5, for example, and you didn't even have Bran in the whole season. He literally was not in the season. Like, what? And then that's when the problems started happening. And then you have the long night, which, if you could see it, was a great battle. I mean, I think the battle tactics were stupid. But beyond that, I mean, it looked cool. Visually, everything's great. Music, all that's great. But you kill the dude, the Night King, that you had been foreshadowing and hinting at, and it was really the problem the whole time, in one episode, and then you do it with Arya from magically flying out of a tree or something, and then expect people to go, oh, yes, exactly what we needed. I didn't expect Jon Snow to fight him at all. I don't know, man. We'll stop. I'm just being real. Mizuma, it's not horrible, man. Like I said, it's a fun movie. There's some fun. There's a lot of fun in Thor. It's not like complete trash or something, but it's just the more you think about, like, they could have maybe did that different, things like that. So I would watch it. I mean, it's I mean, hey, it's better than Dark World. It's better than Thor 2. Sleepy, what's up, Sleepy? Even if they stretched it out, Germ still hasn't released a follow-up book, so imagine it still be largely the same outcome. Yeah, I mean, right. That's what I'm saying. I mean, it still is. Maybe he gives them more detail as he gets some more Winds of Winter done. But of course, that was season 5. That's what I mean. Maybe he has some more stuff fleshed out as far as like character arcs and whatever, stuff like that. So it could have been a little different. But yeah, I think you're right. I mean, he still doesn't have the finished books for them to go off of. So. Now, if he's not going to finish the books, he should have been in that writer's room every damn day. If you're going to take time off to do all these other things, finish the first show first and say, no, I don't want him to do that. I don't want Jaime to go running back to Cersei again to die under rocks. I don't want... Why is Arya jumping out of a wall, off of a wall that's not there, flying through the air to do the same trick she did with Brienne, which I know was a setup for that, just to subvert expectations? Why are we doing that again? I mean, he should have been there for those things. So if your books are not done, be there and oversee your baby. I would. I'm just saying. That's just me. All right. I'll stop. Hello, Kate. Kate R. Welcome. Welcome, Kate R. Welcome to the family. Hope you enjoy your stay, and we'll be doing this every Sunday and after the show. And feel free to chime in. We just talk about Game of Thrones and now House of the Dragon and have these open discussions and have a good time. Mizuma, Huntress is overrated. Fight me. Mizuma, I want you to play Huntress and Nurse for me. I want to watch you stream, even if it's private in Discord. I want you to stream Huntress and Nurse for me. You've got to do it. Look, I play clown for y'all. You know what I'm saying? For y'all clown enthusiasts, I play clown. I play Demogorgon. I've been playing these killers Blight that I am no good at. You've got to play Huntress and Nurse. Have you heard the recent... We'll talk about this later. There's been this recent thing. We're talking about a game, by the way, Dead by Daylight. been this recent thing where people are calling for the nurse to be nerfed, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Anyway, we'll talk about that later. Sleepy, First Blood, Ama Aaron. Yeah, I mean, well, no. Technically, that's not really. That does happen. I probably have already spoiled it, but she will not be technically First Blood in the war. But yeah, that will certainly happen. But not in the dance. Not family versus, you know what I'm saying. Actual killing is what I'm saying. But you do have a couple weird accidents. I don't know, falling off horses and weird things like that, man. With Damon, we'll see. We'll see if Damon had any, but he wasn't there actually. We'll see. Bob Fisher, Brandon Sanderson offered. Did he actually offer that? Because I know he obviously finished Wheel of Time. Did he actually offer that? Because, I mean, Germ's still here. That would be kind of odd, I think, if he offered that. Yeah, exactly, Peach. I mean, imagine that. Right. Epic series and not finished at Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings. But that's the thing, you know, you had Tolkien, he had some unfinished stuff, but he had his main series finished, you know. But then Christopher took over and stayed true to his vision because he made it very clear. And that's why I think when we get to Lord of the Rings, which is coming on, like, will overlap a little bit, I believe, right, with House of the Dragon in September, there's going to be a lot of problems. There's going to be a lot of arguments on YouTube about it. I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot of issues with this show. I can see it now. I can tell the way they've covered it in these Vanity Fair articles. I can tell the way they had these these almost rehashed articles complaining about, or I should say, really attacking fans that attacked the trailer and the teaser. And I don't want to get into Lord of the Rings here. We'll do that later on a different stream, obviously, when we get to that point. But the teaser is not Tolkien. It's not Lord of the Rings. It's not the Second Age. Galadriel, she's not a warrior princess with a sword and armor. She's more of a mage. There's no hobbits in the Second Age. There's not lady dwarves without beards. They're just changing stuff that's really detailed to Tolkien, and that's why there's people having problems with it. And then if you say something, then you're like labeled. It's just weird to me, and I'm not going to participate in it. I'm going to be honest about it, whatever it is, either way. The same way we're talking about Corlys earlier with House of the Dragon, there are things that are done for political reasons, and there's things that are not. And I'm not going to overreact either way. I think that's part of the problem. So, yeah, I mean, I hope it's good and enjoyable, but I don't know. We'll see. I will not fully judge, obviously, till we have seen it. Yeah, Peach, we were talking about DVD. I'm sorry. Yeah, you know. We still. Well, Zuma's been sleeping for a couple weeks now, but we still play DVD every night. I still stream it on Twitch, and that's all I stream. But anyway. Pen Muse, I say we have a Crimson Gods LARP con for Chris. Get some of us to play the characters, record it, and send it to Netflix. We could do better than German D&D. Let's do it, Pen. That would be fun. I think it would be cool, man. Hey, I would like to see it on either a movie or like a show would be cool. Hey, I'd be down for it, man. I think, and look, I'm obviously biased, but if you know what the story's about, don't spoil it for anybody, please, because it really is it's one of those things you can talk about like it's medieval fantasy, it's medieval dark fantasy, whatever, but you can't say what it's about, right? People who read it, you understand. But look, I'm biased. I'm clearly biased. I think it'd be a good story, and I'm willing to like alter things that need to be altered. I can work with TV writers and do a story. Sleepy Rare Royce 115, Lena 1. Yeah, Lenore. I was gonna say, earlier mentioned Lena and Lenore. or as well, because that is the other thing that sets this precedent up, Sleepy. So I won't go into detail on what you're saying here, just for spoiler's sake. But I will say that we'll see the council. We see the council that passes Rhaenys. Rhaenys is married to Corlys, and I'm saying this for everybody who don't know. And it will help you with some of these characters when you see them. So they're a husband and wife. They have kids, Lenore and Laena, and then they're passed over too. So Rhaenys and Corlys got screwed over twice as a family. And Corlys says, you know what, fuck it, and leaves the small council as master of ships and stuff, master of the Navy, commander of the Royal Navy for a time. So there's some strife in there between these close houses that have always intermarried and stuff like that. So I won't mention Laenor and Laena. We'll see that what happens for sure. I think I've mentioned in some videos where I had a spoiler warning. But yeah, I mean, we won't go into we won't spoil anything beyond that. Yeah, Peach used to have unlimited blinks. I think there might have been a cap on it, like 7. But yeah, she used to have unlimited. Then it was 3, and then now it's 2. And now there's some Twitter thing starting where she's breaking the game. No, she's not. You just want every killer, fucking Survivor mains, man. They want every killer to be just able to be looped around pallets so they can teabag and flashlight click. And then they run into a good nurse every once in a while, like once every 20 games. And all of a sudden it's game breaking and we get a nerfer. Sorry for everybody else for talking about this DBD game that I stream on Twitch. But I'm a nurse main, and I think it's ridiculous that people are randomly saying that now. She's always been powerful. Just because you don't know how to run her doesn't mean she's game breaking. Plus, you only see her once every 20 games. She has literally the lowest kill rate at like 48% in the game. So it's balanced as far as I can tell. I'll have games where I get 4Ks. I'll have games where I get 0K. And it all averages out to 2 kills per game, which is what the game should be doing. Anyway. Not Saga, Dustin, coming to a stream near you, me versus Chris in 2K23, but spoiler alert, I'm going to take the dub. You might take a dub one time, Dustin. So he's already talking shit. Boy, I'm going to get good at that game and whip his ass, and we're going to put it on video. Lord Kev, watched Nightmare of the Wolf last night. Pretty good. Makes me like The Witcher more. Yeah, I still haven't watched that one, Lord Kev. I want to see it, but I always wait to watch cartoony stuff. Look, Randy is fixing to yell at me if I talk about cartoons. Yeah. But I do want to see it, actually. Sleepy, Eamon's eye for strong comments and Vagar, but that's 120. Yes, well, that was what I meant, Sleepy, by. We won't say anything beyond that, but First Blood will involve Aemond and the actual war, and I mean First Blood, actual like purposeful murder, death thing. That's what I was saying. No, Bob, you're fine. You're fine about I was just curious. I thought it would be odd to actually, hey, well, you'll be finish your books for you. Hoonjob, I really hope we get Dunk and Egg. I do too, man. I'm telling you, Dunk and Egg are some of the best stories in this whole thing. I'm telling you right now. And I believe 100% Hoon. I said it last stream, Hoonjob, 2 weeks ago before July 4th weekend, during the Jon Snow stream. I believe that Dunk and Egg will be the second one greenlit. I really do. So I think House of the Dragon comes out. I think the first episode or 2, they'll probably go ahead and order season 2 and go ahead and make it a full series, because they don't not as of now there is no season 2, right? They're writing for it, but they're preparing for it, and it obviously probably will be. But officially, it's not even been ordered yet. So I'm assuming that'll happen the first. They'll get the numbers in the first night, first couple episodes. They'll order the rest of the series, 4 or 5 seasons, whatever it's going to be. I do believe that Dunk and Egg will be the second one greenlit, 100%. Dunk and Egg is outstanding. It's such a good story. It's such a good idea of having this like no-name hedge knight who's really tall, and Ken to Brienne, by the way. And then you have this little kid with him with a bald head, and everybody's, why is he bald? and ends up being Aegon the Fifth Targaryen. He's been there, but he hides his hair and he rides around throughout the land to experience, Westeros, as he is in line for the throne, and nobody knows who it is, and it's just such a cool story, and there's so many cool little things that happen, and plus, when you start getting into Beyond the Hedge Knight and all that stuff, you start getting into territory where you can couple characters that are really old in Game of Thrones. We have, young Blood Raven, I was saying before. So there's some crossover there. Dunkin' Egg will be fucking outstanding. I hope they greenlight that really soon so we can get it like 2024. Because, as of right now, we're going to have House of the Dragon, and then we'll have, I'm assuming, season 2 probably the same time next year. I hope. Because I know they've got it all written. But they got to greenlight it to start actually producing it. So, anyway. Bolting Vulture, history is written by those who won. If you read Fire and Blood, you'll know which side I am on. Enough said. Yeah, but the other thing, too, Bolting, about that is the idea of the unreliable narrator. That's what George R. R. Martin was talking about in this podcast as well, this unreliable narrator thing. You got 3 POVs, right, in Fire and Blood. You got Septon Eustace, the Maester, and then you have Mushroom. And he talked about that in his podcast. They're not going to do all 3 like the book. So they decided to pick and choose things from Mushroom, from Septon Eustace, and from the Maester to make this the show. So they did confirm that. So we won't see a Mushroom or whatever. Maybe we will. Maybe we can still see him, actually. But I don't think he's going to be like a main character. But the idea of this unreliable narrator stuff and what really happened versus the stuff added later, 200 years later in history when people were writing, when he was writing this book, right? And that's the way real history works too. So I think that's a cool aspect to take into account when you're writing something. That's what makes George R. R. Martin, to give him some praise, is one of the best writers in history, is because he takes into account real history and how that works. The people who won generally write the history, but then what happens is there's different versions of the same events from different people throughout different periods of time who have different sources. And I knew this guy who knew my grandfather who knew him. And so that's what kind of forms this conglomerate of different aspects of the same historical events. And that's what makes it realistic. So you don't really know when you're reading a book, like, is Septon Eustace right? Is Mushroom right? Or is it probably somewhere in between, because they add all these crazy details later? Kind of like the Red Wedding, he mentioned that. I thought that was interesting. He mentioned the Red Wedding based off the Black Dinner, which was a historical event that actually happened, but they added all the different details that made it all scary and stuff later, like 200 years later, when the actual event was pretty boring in the sense of what we saw like in the Red Wedding. So that's cool. Peach, Hobbit sale. Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah, sure. You want to try to bring in those movie fans, and you see hobbits and stuff, and that makes sense to people. But to make them, if there are any kind of major aspect to the Second Age, is not Tolkien. It's literally fan fiction. So yeah, sure, have them traveling, but they're not in Middle Earth there yet, maybe, or something. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I understand what you're saying, and I do understand to some degree you add some things and change some things again, but you can do that by still pretty much sticking to the source material. Now, again, we haven't seen it yet. We'll see what happens. But my thing is I want to see Melkor, Morgoth, Sauron, when he was still this gorgeous elf dude, before he's corrupted, and obviously he makes the rings eventually, the Rings of Power. I think we get to that point. It's called the Rings of Power. Numenor, the fall of Numenor. So we'll see that stuff, but this condensation from thousands of years to a couple years is crazy to me. Why rush it like that? I don't know. So I'm worried about it. Like we saw this latest little teaser where we saw the hobbits and everybody watching the kind of meteor fallen star go across the sky. Now, obviously, that's probably one of the wizards. I don't know if that's Gandalf or the Blue Wizard, it's probably one of the wizards arriving in Middle Earth or something like that. So that's cool, but I'm going based off, and it's going to look okay. Some things look really weird for the amount of money they spent in the teaser anyway. Some things look really good. But I'm more worried about the modern day political messaging versus just straight up Tolkien. Even if they have to kind of make up some things where there were gaps in the Silmarillion and stuff like that, I understand that. But just don't do the modern political bullshit because that's not the. I'm interested in the politics of Middle Earth at that time. I'm interested in the politics of Westeros at that time, of Essos at that time, not 2022 American bullshit politics. Yeah, CT. It does. There are a lot of things that look. I mean, again, maybe it's unfinished. We are right. We saw a teaser. Maybe it's unfinished. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. They spent. I mean, obviously, the show is the biggest show ever produced, money wise. So I understand. Maybe there's some unfinished things about it, and they wanted to get out a teaser. All I was saying was they already had these pre-written articles. They already had these Vanity Fair articles and these pre-written. They're literally almost copy and pasted from previous stuff like Star Wars, where people complained after seeing the teasers. Oh, they got ratioed. They removed the thumbs down button on YouTube because there were so many negative thumbs down for the teaser and the trailer because it didn't look like Tolkien to people. And they already had these articles ready. That literally the next day they were put out, or same day, I think, in some cases, basically saying, here's your extreme so-called fans who are bitching about everything, and they're just a bunch of whatever ists or a bunch of whatevers. And so that just tells me that that's what they're pushing, and we'll see. Zuma Erie won 2 weeks ago. Hey man, I did too. And I just see once you hit Erie 1 though, there's no pressure. I've been having fun with flashlights, being toxic, all that stuff, man. I haven't played Killer as much this month, but I think I'm at gold 4, but I'm just not going to worry about it anymore. I'm not going to kill myself, and I don't have time for this shit, man, to do both Killer and Survivor to rank 1 every month. I did that for how many months in a row, and I'm not doing it anymore. If I get there, fine. If I don't, I don't. Mr. Maximus, what's up, man? We said this earlier. Val does not do YouTube anymore, so that probably won't happen. She is in school. Y'all were talking about Fortnite skins. Marquita, hello. Me too, Chris. I'm sorry, Marquita. I'm not sure what you're agreeing to. I apologize. I know I've been ranting a little bit tonight, but I apologize. I'm just trying to be honest about it because there's a lot of controversy with these things, and I'm a common sense motherfucker, and I don't buy into this bullshit where you can't have an argument. You can't criticize something you can criticize something without being this whatever label they want to slap on you. You can have a conversation. There's arguments to be made on both sides for these shows and how they do things, how they insert politics and all this kind of stuff. And you can have a conversation about it without calling people names. And that's where I'm on the side of common sense and like respectful dialogue, no matter what we're talking about. Hooper, I don't know if we'll do a Jon Snow stream anytime soon specifically. We can always talk about that stuff in any of these. We're just leading up to House of the Dragon, trying to rebuild our time slot here for the postseason. I'm sure a lot of people, if y'all watch other YouTubers, I don't know, I'm sure there'll be a lot of YouTubers going back and trying to stream after the show like we like before. We started obviously like it was like months before season 7 with the live streams because we had, and then we kind of like, we didn't like the HBO after show. It was horrible. And we were like, let's just do an after show. So we started kind of establishing that time slot. And then obviously season 7, it blew up and everybody was watching. We were live streaming with 8,000 people and 5 and 6 and 8,000 people with one moderator was Carol Brown for a while, and then so I added all these other mods and people that have been around for a long time, Peach, Hunjai, Randy, all these people, Zuma, Nat, and it got crazy. But then everybody started streaming, which again is fine. It's YouTube, you can do what you want. Everybody started streaming after and doing pregame and all that kind of stuff, and then season 8 rolled around and it was already going downhill, and there were so many different channels streaming that it really kind of broke mine, but that's all right. Sleepy, Black Noir, yeah. I won't say anything. I won't say. Oh, The Boys is so good. I love The Boys. I should be talking about it on this channel actually, but it's like as we start getting towards, that's what we're doing this for. As we get towards Dragon. Trying to do some content on Dragon and add to the playlist. There's already a huge playlist, by the way. For anybody new here or hanging out or, we have a whole House of Dragon playlist where we talk about some of these characters in more detail, all the major characters, from Rhaenyra to Daemon, to even talk about Aemond and Otto Hightower, even though I can't stand him, Queen Alicent. So we have all these playlists and stuff leading up to the dance and all this stuff. So we're trying to build some content to, in a couple weeks, I think, again, the 21st, I believe. So next week, I believe, am I right about that Comic-Con panel? I believe that's the day. I think we'll get a trailer, and I think really shit will stop popping off really for the show. Because we're 6 weeks away. I mean, think about it. In 6 more weeks tonight, we'll be on here talking about episode 1. Tressa James, he's doing good. Like I said, he's on a different schedule now, so I doubt he's going to be here for post-game live streams, but he maybe once he gets into it. I think he'll definitely. He's going to watch it. He's excited about watching. I don't think he's excited as I am, but he wasn't about Game of Thrones either. So we'll see. We'll see if we can drag him in here. But he just has to get up early on Mondays, so it's going to be hard because we go from, you can't start till 10:15, 10:30 because the show ends, and we're, I'm trying to take notes, some general notes for the live stream, and it's hard to do. And then you start and you want to talk forever because you got a lot of excited people. And I'm just one of those, when I stream, you notice I try to get to every question I possibly can. Which is why I say, hey, join Patreon, even if it's for $3 or whatever a month, because on those streams, I post every Patreon question is guaranteed to get answered, and that's why I've been saying that for years. Because I try to answer everybody's. I try to go say hello to everybody, and so I know I spend a lot of time rambling, but that's just how I am. I can't stand to see like a comment on a YouTube video. I at least have to go heart it because I try to respond. I used to respond to every single one. I at least heart every single comment because I want people to know that I read those. And I'm the same way in a live stream. It bothers the shit out of me if I just start reading questions and not say hello to every name that I could possibly see. I know I still miss some, but I try. Secret Squirrel, heavy spoiler reveal. What heavy spoiler reveal? You talking about heavy spoilers? The channel? I know the channel. I don't know Paul personally. I know he's blown up, and what has he got? Damn near 1 million subscribers now, or close to it. He's a really good channel, but he's got a really good editor. I wish that's what I need. I need an editor, but I can't pay an editor anymore. I could have. Game of Thrones season 7, that type of when we were like hopping like that, I could probably afford an editor. I can't afford it. Otherwise, I'll do a lot more stuff if I could pass off stuff to an editor. But that's what makes his videos good. Is he's got good scripts. He writes good scripts. I don't write scripts. I just come off the cuff, which is probably that's my fault, But that's just my style. But I would love to have an editor so I ain't got to deal with that shit. Because after I've done unbelievably, they're not all like public or whatever. I've done through all the channels and all the years, like 1,500 videos, and that's insane. That's some took a couple hours, some took a couple days, but 1,500 videos is absolutely insane across like every channel and the ones that are not even published and stuff. There's Aegon the Fifth right there. There's Egg. What's up, Egg? How you doing? We're just talking about you because we were talking about a potential Dunk and Egg series. Bolting Ventures mentioning again right there. Dunk and Egg would end in Summerhall, which is possibly the most important event to ever take place in Planetos after Doom of Valyria and Aegon's conquest in setting up Game of Thrones. I agree, and we don't have all the answers there to Summerhall. That would definitely be... But he actually wants to write more Dunk and Egg, but of course he's got to finish WoW and Dream of Spring first, but it's not going to happen. So he'll probably, what he'll do is finish Winds and probably like write another 1,000 world story for sci-fi, and maybe he'll do Dunk and Egg stuff to try to get that. I do believe, though, that will be the next series because it's got too much potential not to be. But welcome in Aegon the Fifth Targaryen, fifth of his name. Pretty big character in Westerosi history. Yeah, Musey, they are supposed to be unreliable. That's what we were talking about earlier. So you don't really know who's got the closest version to reality, but that's what they said they're doing for the show. Is they took bits from Septon Eustace and Mushroom and Maester, and they kind of combined it to make what House of the Dragon the show will be. So they actually thought about setting it up as in like the books where he's writing this book and then they would do a flashback and the whole episode would be him writing this or telling this story. So they actually said, George R. R. Martin said in that podcast that they actually talked about that, but decided to combine things from Mushroom, Septon Eustace, etc. Because you have 3 unreliable narrators in Fire and Blood. Shara and hello. Your channel was one of the first YouTube channels that I ever followed back in 2017 because you have I became a true A Song of Ice and Fire fan. My first time ever liking fantasy sci-fi. Nice, very cool, Shara. Thank you. I appreciate you being here or being around that long. A lot of people have skedaddled. We went from nothing back in 2015 to 84,000 subscribers, and now we're back at 70, almost 77 again, but it keeps going up and down. We'll see what happens. So I'm glad that there's some old names popping back in here. They're really, really cool to see. I really mean that, me and James said it many times in many live streams before, but it means a lot to see kind of this online family that we have here. And it really means a lot after me being really down in the dump. I've really been fucked up for 2.5 years, honestly. I've said this before about this channel and the show. And even though I said for years, hey, look, Game of Thrones is going to end. We're going to talk about, WandaVision and Marvel shows and Star Wars and all these other things, Westworld, and it didn't matter. It still broke. It still just went away. It was literally like a switch was flipped. And so it means a lot to see you guys coming back and seeing some of these familiar names and stuff. It's really cool. Katrin, from my point of view, good morning, Katrin. I hope I'm saying that right. From my point of view, that reminds me of Obi-Wan. From a certain point of view. Mike Williams, did I see the leaked teaser that I wasn't supposed to see? No, I have not seen a leaked anything. You can't unleak the leak. Was there a leaked teaser for this show, you mean? I will be glad to look at a leak because I know everything that happens, obviously. So this is not like GOT where, like, look, I took in GOT, man, y'all know this from y'all old school people who've been around. We did, James joined in later in the later years, but I put out theories and in-game stuff years before. My whole thing was I wanted to figure this out from my knowledge, my reading, foreshadowing, all those little things that I really enjoyed about actually writing when I wrote The Crimson Gods. My favorite part was going back in and putting in like foreshadowing clues and hints and stuff. That's by far my favorite part of writing when I wrote my book. I wanted to do all that on my own without spoilers, and I never did spoilers. I never did leaks. I know a lot of channels did that. I don't fault them for it. But those channels blew up and got big because they did leaks and whatever, because people love them. They love spoilers, which is fine. There's certainly a market for it, but I just didn't do that. Looking back, I probably should have, as far as a business decision. But I couldn't do it because I wanted to figure out the shit on my own and see if I could see where this thing was going. So that's entirely on me. But again, I felt like it would be selling out for me. I'm not saying anybody that did leaks was wrong to do it. That's fine if that's their thing. It gets views. When you put out, House of the Dragon, season 1, episode 1 full leaked episode, and you talk about it from an email you got from some random dude on the internet, it's going to get views. But I just never did that. So, but I would definitely watch a leaked, House of the Dragon thing because we know how this all ends. So I wouldn't have a problem looking at it. I wouldn't do a video on it necessarily. But I'm saying I would certainly watch it. But I haven't heard of any leaks this time. Marquita, oh yeah, Dunkin' Egg, yeah, I see Marquita, yes. Yeah, Dunkin' Egg is outstanding. That would, I really do. I mean, again, I don't have any insider knowledge or anything. But I would love. I do think that the next big announcement will be that Dunkin' Egg has ordered a pilot. I believe that will be the case. I believe you got to see Dunkin' Egg before you can see like Nymeria, 10,000 Ships, before you see the Sea Snake have his own show. Any other thing there, the Jon Snow thing, obviously that would probably be a big one to try to recapture some of the GOT stuff because it's an actual sequel. But I think that Dunkin' Egg has the best chance because how many people have heard of Nymeria? Right? I mean, yeah, hardcore book nerds, it'd be a great show, don't get me wrong, but how many people have heard of Nymeria, the Rhaenyra, the Queen of the Rhaenyra and all that stuff? In comparison to Aegon. You've heard the name Aegon a million times. Jon Snow was fucking named Aegon after one of these Aegons who is Egg. We heard, obviously, Maester Aemon, who was Aemon Targaryen, call out for Egg, his brother, because he was dying. But it's just such a really, I think it makes such a really cool show because there's so many different little adventures. It's not some big, like it's got a timeline, but it's not like House of the Dragon or Game of Thrones where you have this main story with all these different things. It's just like those two go on all these different cool little adventures, and every season will be a lot, like different in some way with the same, focused on the same two people, and you get to meet all these other cool historical figures. So, Herogasm. Herogasm was outstanding, man. I love The Boys. I should have talked about The Boys on here. Darlene Diana, what's up, Darlene Diana? I wonder which chapter season 1 will cover. We talked about that earlier, Diana, earlier in the stream. I kind of mentioned a couple things. I think we start with the Great Council of 101 AC, so we talked about that. So if you watch the VOD of this, I'll go into a little more detail, but we're definitely going to open with the Council of 101. I think they kind of confirmed that on that podcast. But I actually said that a couple weeks ago, talking about the Jon Snow show and the other House of the Dragon live streams and some videos. We'll definitely open with the Council. We saw that in the teaser. So season 1, we basically said earlier that the Council will set the precedent for Rhaenys being passed over, and then later on her kids, as far as her and Corlys being kind of estranged from the Targaryens for a bit. You'll see the relationship between young Alicent and Rhaenyra, because they were really close, obviously, and then she became her stepmom, and then she was heir to the Iron Throne. So it's going to set that precedent up with that kind of stuff, and then obviously the relationship's going to change when Alicent becomes queen and then starts having sons, obviously Aegon being the main, the firstborn, and then Helena and Aemond. You're going to see that relationship established, and then what happens later as it breaks down. You'll see the war for the Stepstones with Daemon and Corlys going after the Triarchy, because Daemon, that establishes him a little bit as the rogue prince and how his personality is, being both kind of an anti-hero, good and bad, half and half. He's going to do some crazy shit, but he's also a very cool dude. He's really the main character of the show, so you're going to see that. And then, so we talked about that, and then as all this leads up to 129, when the dance actually begins. So you have, basically 28 years to play with there between those. So I think that's essentially season 1, is setting up all this stuff and setting the ideas up that here's these really two close friends. Then later on, they become Team Black, Team Green, based off dress colors. You see Daemon established as this guy who he wants to be the heir. His brother's the king. He wouldn't be sad to see his brother die, so he could take the throne or whatever, But he goes off and says, "Okay, well, I'll go rule the Stepstones." And then Corlys Velaryon says, "Okay, well, hey, I don't like all these taxes, so I'll go help you." So it's going to set up those type of things, I believe, is the idea that I have in mind for season 1. I think they have to go there. They have to establish that stuff. I don't remember which chapters that would be, but that I could pull out Fire and Blood is sitting right there. I was reading through it again a couple of days ago. But if, I would say a few chapters before the death of I think it's called the Death of the Dragons. So what is that? 3 chapters or something? I don't know. Yvette Reese, thank you for becoming a channel member. Really appreciate that, Yvette. Thank you. We have spam up in here. Hopefully, thank you guys for taking care of that. I'm sorry. I'm trying to catch up on these comments. We'll wrap it up here in a few minutes. I know people have to go to sleep at some point. Yvette, thank you again, Yvette. I appreciate it. Sorry I turned up so late. Hi from New Zealand. Welcome, Yvette, and thank you so much for joining the channel. That really helps a lot. It's like for y'all guys who hang out on Twitch, a membership here is just like a subscription on Twitch, where a follow on Twitch is just like a subscription on YouTube. So it's the same thing. It's just different names. You subscribe for free on YouTube, but you join or follow. It's so weird. Memberships is just exactly like a Twitch, and you unlock the emojis, which again, we're going to do some new emojis and stuff. So thank you. And then there's like member only chat and stuff. That's cool. So we'll start doing some stuff there. Okay, I'm trying to scroll down and catch up. I apologize, I missed a few comments here. What's up, Logan Cox? How you doing, man? Dork Knight, Logan Cox. That's right. What happened to Dork Knight? What happened to the Dork Knight name? Did you just log in with a different account? I noticed a lot of subscribers that have been lost over the years are just old accounts that people don't use anymore. I just wonder how many people just stopped. Like, let me see. I have not seen a subscriber. The subscribers have been kind of slowly climbing, actually, lately. Let me do a test here. There we go. That's just a test. So I have not seen one of those during this stream. But thank you for becoming a member. Appreciate that. That helps a lot. Helps a lot. Sleepy, Alt Shift X, Val, SmokeScreen are some of my favorite Ice and Fire got YouTube sources. I appreciate it, Sleepy. Yeah, Alt Shift X, he's a cool dude, man. I hate I didn't get to meet him in person. I have talked to him a lot. I sent him a book, as a matter of fact. He did get the book in Australia. It cost me $120 to send Alt Shift X a book in Australia. I printed the book for $4, right, or whatever, because I ordered a bunch to send to like some YouTube friends and some reviewers and stuff, and obviously some of you guys who did some early reviews on it and stuff. And Alt Shift X was one because we had talked. I've talked to him off and on for years, and the con I was going to, the second one, he was there, and I didn't get to meet him in person, but I hated that. But I had, Camden stuff come up with softball. But $120 to send a book to Australia. So all I know is he got it. I don't know if he's read it yet. I hadn't heard him mention it or anything. But then again, I don't watch a lot of YouTubers' videos. Some of those channels that blew up are boring AF, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, sure, Peach. Everybody's got their thing, that's fine. A lot of channels I helped in the behind the scenes really blew up, and then I never heard from them again, and that's how it works. I won't name any names. I have no problem with anybody I've never had any drama with anybody on YouTube. For the most part, I've gotten along with everybody. There's been a couple little things. I don't hold any grudges, though, on for any of that stuff. That was just really one channel. But there are a couple big channels now that I helped out back in the day, and it's just odd to me. I've never understood it. They were smaller channels, and we collabed on some things here and there, and then they blew up, and then I never heard from them again, and that's just how it works. I don't get it. There's plenty of love to go around. All you guys can like my channel. You can like Gray Area and Tony Teflon, the OG. You can like Bridge 4. All these different channels, Alt Shift X. You can like them at the same time. Subscribing is free. You can be a subscriber to me and Tony and Gray and Gemma. Gemma kind of disappeared too, but just naming, Talking Thrones, Dan. You can subscribe to all those channels for absolutely nothing by just clicking a button. And I don't understand. I guess people just have their people, and they don't. I don't know. But I will not be the guy who sits there and says, do not go like other YouTubers. I think that's crazy. Some people may like my streams for whatever reason, but like, I don't know, Gray's videos. I'm just using an example. I'm just throwing out names. Somebody might like Teflon for his personality, but like the editing of Alt Shift X. But you can like all that together, and you can support all those people at the same time for absolutely nothing. And I will always say, I've said before, Quinn was a big, obviously, YouTuber for Ice and Fire. He's gotten really big now off of Dune and his sci-fi love for sci-fi stuff. Which is great. Quinn wrote a book. I've got it right. I don't know if it's right here. No, it's over there. He wrote a graphic novel too. I shouted his stuff out on a channel, on a live stream a couple months ago, because I got his. I pre-ordered his hardcover. It's a graphic novel called Tadia. It's outstanding. The artwork is by a guy named Matthew as well, but Quinn wrote this thing, and I think he's writing more. I think it's beautiful to see a guy who started his YouTube channel talking about Ice and Fire and Dune and things that he loves, just being a book nerd, to go from nothing to now he's got like 300, 400,000 subscribers. He wrote a book. He went beyond YouTube. I think that's awesome. So I don't get why there's this odd, weird. I get competition. Look, I get it. I get there's a competitive thing. Like when I came up, I was like, yeah, I want to pass that channel, but it doesn't mean that I don't want them to be successful either. So when I put this book out, I sent it to a lot of these YouTubers, and Gray mentioned it in a tweet, I believe, and In Deep Geek Robert, he's blowing up. He's never stopped growing. He's the only one I've seen that's continued to grow throughout Game of Thrones failing and all that stuff. Everybody else had a rough period. He mentioned it in a tweet, I think maybe on Instagram, but nobody's mentioned it on a video. And again, they don't owe me that. That's fine. I didn't do that for that reason. I sent them hoping that they would enjoy it. It's really a big deal to me that you start on YouTube and then kind of expand beyond. I think that's a really cool thing. Even this YouTube itself is hard enough. So when you're writing books, I respect the hell out of that. And you're taking your love to the next level and saying, okay, well, I'm criticizing shows and I'm breaking down shows and all this kind of stuff. How about I write my own thing? So that's what I wanted to do. And I just find it odd that there's this weird, I don't know, I wouldn't even call it a competition. It's not in my head. But that you can't have all these people, you can like all these channels, man. And you don't have to by any means. I'm just saying, I'm not going to ever say don't check out them, because while there's some channels that I don't dig the flavor of, I wish them success, Bolting, I'm sorry. Snape killed Dumbledore, began the onslaught on leaks, and there's no M. Thankfully, I didn't see that leak. Yeah, I need to take a leak, Lord Kev, actually. All right, I'm sorry. I know I'm behind here. Marquita, yeah, only book readers and Arya fans know about Nymeria. Well, exactly. I mean, that's what I mean. It's, so as far as the, the selling of a show, the promotion, I don't think if you're pitching shows to the public and you put these ideas out there, like for example, Comic-Con, maybe they talk about some of the shows. They've already mentioned some of these shows. They're in development. The public in general is going to respond to Dunk and Egg, the ancestor to Brienne of Tarth, and also an Aegon the Fifth, an ancestor to Daenerys, versus Nymeria and the Rhaenyra from across the Narrow Sea, who eventually took over Dorne. They just didn't do Dorne well in Game of Thrones. They didn't represent them well. They didn't do the whole storyline at all. And it's a shame, but that's just the reality of it. So just people wouldn't know. You'd have to be like, well, who's Nymeria again? I know there was a wolf named Nymeria, but you got to find out why. Why did Arya name her direwolf Nymeria? So it's just marketing. All right, I'm gonna scroll to the bottom here to get caught up. I apologize. LeVar Hollis, what's up, LeVar? How you doing, man? This is the #1 GOT channel. Thank you, man. I appreciate that, dude. I really do. I appreciate it. It used to be pretty big. Used to be pretty good. DJ Cashville, what's up? DJ Cash, you and Charlie are the ones I watch for GOT. Hey, man, look, I give Charlie a lot of credit, man. Charlie from Mercy Awesome. Now, look, he gets a lot of stuff wrong, but I like Charlie because Charlie is the reason, and I don't know how many people would say that. Charlie's the reason I started YouTube and thought it was possible. And I think that's probably for a lot of people. I started watching YouTube in my Microsoft days. On downtime, I would watch YouTube clips. I just literally started watching old Michael Jordan clips. That's what I started watching YouTube for. I didn't watch it for anything else. And then obviously that got me into seeing, there's videos about this and there's videos about that. But I came across Charlie when he had like 100,000 subscribers. I'm like, oh my God, he's got 100,000 subscribers. I bet he makes $1 million a year. I didn't have any clue. But Charlie covering everything is the reason I said, you know what, I'm going to start talking about this stuff, because a couple of my friends are Marvel nerds and whatever, but we don't get to talk a lot. We go to a movie and hang out and talk about it for a couple hours, but I've always said this is a digital campfire, and I'll start trying it out. And so I went and bought a camera, and I sat there in a room like staring at it like, okay, I got to look into this camera and pretend I'm talking to a room full of people. And that was so fucking weird. And and so yeah, the idea of even doing this thing was because of Charlie, and a lot of people can say that probably. Emergency awesome. Now, look, does he get some stuff wrong? Because he covers so much stuff. He knows a lot. I'm not taking anything away from Charlie. Believe me, I don't mean this as a negative, but like he's on every single show. Marvel, DC, Star Wars, Game of Thrones, Ice and Fire, all these things. So he gets some stuff wrong and some stuff's not accurate, but he covers everything. And so I was like, if this dude can talk about this stuff, I can, because I'm an old Star Wars nerd. That was my first love. I'm an old Marvel nerd. And then I got into Ice and Fire and stuff, obviously. But he's a big reason. So I've always been subscribed to him from day one, and I don't watch him much anymore, but I don't watch all the things he does either. But I do occasionally watch some of his stuff still, but he's the reason I started for sure. Ben G, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Ben, $1.99 super chat. Where do you think the cat's ball dagger came from? Okay, we do see it in the teaser. I don't know if I should answer this. It would be a spoiler. I don't know how far it goes back. Obviously, it goes back well beyond probably this show. It probably goes back to I would say old Valyria, because that's how Valyrians decorated their blades, was kind of established. Obviously, the making of Valyrian steel was lost during the Doom. You're talking about thousands of years ago. I would say it was probably, if it's here, it was probably like Aegon's or maybe Visenya's dagger or somebody's. They may tell us that. But from the show perspective, from this show, we see the scene where Queen Alicent is running with the dagger. It looks like she's going for Rhaenyra, but she's not. She's going for somebody else that Rhaenyra is trying to stop. And it's because of her son, Aemond. And that was probably the dagger that did something to Aemond. And I don't want to say anymore. So, I don't know if that answers your question. I hope it kind of does, Benji. But I don't want to spoil anything, because this is the kind of stuff that really splits that relationship up, and this is the first real big thing that I don't want to spoil. So I'll just say that it will be responsible for Aemond getting his nickname, and I'll stop there. So, my opinion, but I believe so. Peach and Deep Geek really never stopped posting. Yeah, no, he certainly did. He kept on going. He still does. And see, that's the thing. Live streams usually kill a channel. You see all these channels with their own live channels. But he kept doing, obviously Lord of the Rings and all that stuff as well. Big Tolkien expert for sure. Knows a lot more than me. I used to know. I've forgotten a lot about Tolkien, but I'm getting back into it more recently. But now I've kind of stopped that to refocus on Fire and Blood and stuff for this show. So so Robert, he found the magical. I don't know what he found. He found the algorithm found him or whatever, and he and congrats to Robert. Robert's a cool dude. I like Robert. I asked Robert to do a couple voiceovers for my book, and he actually agreed to do the prologue. It would have been for like a promotional video. We never had a chance to do it. I sent him a book as well. Last time I heard from him, he had not had a chance to read it yet because he was rereading Witcher stuff to prepare for that show. But Robert covers all those things and somehow gets by with it. And that's what I'm not saying Robert, I'm saying YouTube. That's why YouTube bugs me, because I can't do a Witcher. I did it anyway. I'm not saying I can. I'm saying for growth. if I do The Witcher and Star Wars and Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon and Marvel, I'm punished for it. Only Dragon videos or whatever get any kind of traction. But Robert can do Lord of the Rings and Ice and Fire, Steel, and all that kind of stuff, and still grow and do live stuff on his channel without having a separate live channel. So good for him. Again, he's a good dude. And again, one of the few people who said, you know what, that's cool. He wrote this book, and I sent him a book again. Hopefully, I don't know if he has time to had time to read it. But I wanted to hear from people like Robert and Quinn because and Teflon and Greg, because these people read books, they're intelligent, and their feedback was important to me. But I never got any. So, oh well, I sent them. I did not see the leak of any episode titles. I would talk about that because I think the titles are fine. I did see somebody said earlier the first length of the episode is 66 minutes. Yeah, somebody did mention that earlier. I don't know where we got the episode length. I think I think that's probably right. But I have not seen any leaks of anything for this, except for, again, during filming you get the photos. I did talk about that in videos, but those are just photos that really just, we did establish some things from those, but I wouldn't call those like, they're not plot leaks or whatever. It's stuff we knew was going to happen because it's in the book. So it's hard to really spoil stuff in this show because it is a finished book. It's not like obviously people who haven't read the books, anything would be a spoiler, but Sleepy, I did a free trial with Audible. I'll give Crimson Gods a listen. I'm no critic, but a subscriber, I'll give it the time. Cool, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoy it. Audible, the audiobook is outstanding. I could have gave you a link for free, by the way. It's in my any YouTube video of mine. You can get a free Audible trial. Let me see. And you can get that book for free. And even if you cancel the Audible trial, you can still keep that book. Let me find a... Hold on, I got a link. I got a folder here with this stuff. If you go to this website, it is audibletrial.com/smokescreen. You can get a free audio book. I'll just paste that a couple times. And that will get, if you sign up for like you just did, if you sign up for a trial, you can get a free audiobook with that. And so you can get the Crimson Gods. And then if you don't like audiobooks or you don't continue it, you cancel the trial, whatever, you still keep the book. Should have mentioned that earlier. Sorry about that. Callie, what's up, Callie? Those live streams were great. They were outstanding. We had so much fun. So much fun. I enjoy these, man. And I hope, James, I know it's fun with me and James because we bounce off each other and stuff. And, again, James probably won't do these, at least for a while. We'll see. But I hope these are enjoyable just because James is not here. Because I know a lot of people love James, and I love James too. It's fun with him here to bounce stuff off of. And he kind of was the new guy to the whole world of Game of Thrones and Westeros, and would be again to House of the Dragon because he hasn't read anything as far as like these other books like Fire and Blood. But I hope these are just are enjoyable without James, assuming he doesn't come to these, because I know that made it better. So I hope boring old me alone is not too bad. All right. Let me close that. All right. Donjus, episode 2, the Rogue Prince. Yeah, see, we talked about this earlier, Donjus. That would not surprise me. Did you say heirs to the dragon? Yeah, and those actually line up exactly with what I talked about early in the stream, what we're going to see in the first season. The Rogue Prince will be all about the World for Stepstones, I think, with Daemon. and Corlys. We talked about that. Heirs of the Dragon. This is the 101 AC Council. This is where Rhaenys gets passed over for Viserys, and then that starts the whole like precedent about women being passed over. And then later on, her kids, Rhaenyra gets passed over, and all that stuff. So it's exactly lining up as far as the titles you're throwing out there, is what I was saying earlier. Musey and Peach. She's got the cool posh voice. Rob says, "I'm cooler than Robert." What's up, Rob? How you doing? Is this like Rob's like spam account? He's in here. In Deep Geek is in here. Is Rob Tintle Knot? All right, Bolty Vulture. Yeah, we're gonna get out of here. Good night, man. Appreciate you coming by. Inviting, always very inviting, full of good, wholesome humor and Dargans. You will have me to subscribe this night, and for all nights to come. Thank you, Bolting Vulture. I appreciate you letting me be your liege lord. But yeah, we'll wrap it up. It is almost 1. We'll get out of here. Any last things? Post them now. I hope I didn't miss anything too important. I apologize if I did. I tried to keep up, but I get on these little rants, as you know. Now I got to go not talk for like an hour to get my voice back. I'll go play like an hour of DBD and watch Mizuma play nurse. Oh, shit. But yes, thank you guys for hanging out, man. Thank you for all you guys who said you grabbed a book. I'm gonna check real quick, actually. Let me just see. I don't know if you guys had 3 or 4 people. I think it was 4 people said you ordered the book. I want to see if it has updated. Let me look. I know I got this bright light on over here. I'm sorry. It says it's $149 in medieval literature. I've seen it as high as $6. Paperback still says $220. So it's not updated. If there was 4, let me check. Kindle was never really high. And the Kindle, honestly, it had some mistakes in it that I was not aware of. Not many bad ones, but it's not the, believe me, I had great people who set this up as far as the formatting, but Kindle is weird. You can't do like these cool formats that you can for paperback and hardback. And so you don't get the full experience with the Kindle version, I don't think. Yeah, so hardcover, I don't know what y'all got. I think most of y'all said hardcovers because it was the cheap. It's $423. Paperback was $480. The hardcover is $423. So I don't see it updated, and it could have jumped from something. I think it was that earlier. So it's supposed to update every hour. If 3 or 4 or 5 of you bought a book, then I will jump that way up there. I would think in that category. So thank you guys who said you grabbed a book. I appreciate it. I mean, I hope you guys enjoy it. And for sure, like it or not, leave a review on Amazon. That would be really cool if anybody's already read it as well. Yvette Reese, the audiobook of Crimson Gods is fantastic. Got me through a really tough time being sick. Yes, I'm glad it helped, Yvette, in any way. That's really cool to hear. I love hearing those comments. I know we're just YouTube people who sit there on a camera and talk to people. Or talking to a camera in a room or record a video. But when you get those comments like it helped me out through a tough time or whatever, that's so cool. And I don't think y'all realize how much it helps us in some way, especially me. I can't speak for everybody. But these streams and hanging out with you guys and stuff, it gets me through those times too. There's been some dark times, especially in the last 2.5 years when everybody kind of went away. But not your fault. I'm saying the whole channel thing. But yeah, man, it's really cool. I really appreciate it, and thank you Reyna for the super chat earlier as well. Super chats help a lot. Joining the channel helps a lot. Yvette, thank you for becoming a member. Peach, I know yours renewed earlier. Peach, you've been a member forever. Patreon, I really need to. I want to get with you guys that are still executive producers or whatever, and get with like we used to do, and see how we can make Patreon more attractive and valuable to people. There are free books in those levels and stuff as well, and that would apply to any future books. But I want some exclusive stuff on there to rebuild that community, because right now it's just dropping, and YouTube is gas money, so it's not even, of course, not even gas money anymore. So I'm trying to obviously rebuild this thing in a way that's valuable to people. Patreon, whether you support there, that's probably the best way, because it's like a monthly thing that's almost like a paycheck, if you can, if that makes sense. And then channel memberships are awful helpful as well, because that's the other, any kind of ad revenue from YouTube, whether it's from watching all these videos or the split that I get from a super chat or becoming a member, which is a monthly thing like Twitch for $4.99, whatever. That's all like another paycheck. And so if I rebuild those to where I can survive again, then I'll be in good shape. That's all I'm worried about. So thank you guys for that, for the super chats and memberships and all that. Trying to see if I missed anything. All right, Peachy, have a good one. Thank you for hanging out. Glad you stopped by. And everybody for that matter. Donjus, you said you bought one a few months ago, so you got the paperback because I'm weird like that. No, I understand. I do. Hey, look, they're both cool in their own way. I got a lot over here, still. So I still got a lot left, but I'd ordered a lot to send to people, but I still probably have and I had them in a local bookstore too that I actually need to call them. I need to check it because I think they've sold them all. I'm not sure. Chris M. Welcome, Chris. Buying mine right now. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. That's cool, man. I really appreciate it. I was just saying earlier, use that Amazon link I sent you. They're $4, man. I mean, you can't beat that. I've never seen them this low. They've always played with the price because Amazon can change it if they want to. Here, let me give you a link if you want the text link. I pasted it earlier, or maybe a mod can grab it. Hold on, I got it, I think. But this is there you go. There's the hardcover. Or you can pick any one from that link either way. But yeah, I mean, for $4.29 for a hardcover, it's a gorgeous book. It's so beautiful. The weird thing about it is an ebook makes the most money. You make a couple of dollars off an ebook. You make like 50 cents off a paperback and a quarter off a hardcover. But the hardcover is what is so gorgeous. You don't get that from an ebook. I've read some ebooks. I've got plenty. I listen to a lot of audiobooks, but there's nothing like holding a hardcover with a sleeve, and then it's just gorgeous. With the artwork in there that Urtatch did too. And Urtatch, by the way, I said that before. I had to keep the secret for like a year. The next big coffee table book, the Dragon book that's coming out later this year, I believe. Urtatch has done like 20 pieces in there in the cover. And I had to keep that secret for so long. So I'm so proud of him. He's such a cool guy. Been a friend of mine on this YouTube thing for many years now. He did the artwork in my book. And now this dude is in George R.R. Martin's next coffee table book, Fire Cannot Kill a Dragon. I'm sorry, no, that's the other guy's book. The new coffee table book they announced a couple months ago. Finally was able to say something about it. So it's really cool that Urtatch is blown up in the art world. I knew he would. He has the mountain got a tattoo on his arm from his artwork. All right, so... yeah, thank you, Big Kev. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate you, Mods, taking care of all these spam shits, too. Mr. Maximus, thank you for getting the hardcover. Really cool, man. That's really cool. I hope you guys enjoy, man. Really do. It means a lot. And certainly motivates me to keep writing, because I have started prequels, and I have started book 2, but I'm not quite there yet with where I'm going. But this is a complete story, so it's not like you're gonna be left hanging. This was the original whole story. So Nobi, as we leave, she comes in late as usual. We're getting off here like right now, Nobi, but sorry about that, Nobi, but thanks for stopping by. Sleepy, it spawned the reign of Darth Smokius. And we got to work on that, though. We got to work on that a little bit. Nobi, thank you for hanging out, stopping by, though. We're just now getting off here. We started at 10, so we 3 hours, but really appreciate you guys. Seriously, thank you for stopping by. I'll try to put out something this week. I'm not sure if something will happen with House of the Dragon, but I'll try to come up with something I can talk about that I hadn't already in all the House of Dragon playlist. I'll try to do something. Maybe I'll do a smoke break episode and talk about Stranger Things and The Boys or something, and then whatever news we may get from House of the Dragon, we'll see. Again, thank you, Ben G, for the super chat. Yvette for becoming a channel member. Peach for the membership renewal. Rhaenyra for the super chat as well. And I think, that was 2 days ago. Somebody subscribed. I can't see. I guess that's 2 days ago. I don't know if they're on here or not, but I appreciate you guys. Christian won a jackpot at the casino, bought a book. Awesome. Thank you, Christian, man. I appreciate it. So everybody have a good night. We'll see you next Sunday. Hopefully I'll have some content this week. I don't know if Eddie Stark's making an appearance again, but if you hadn't seen Eddie, the last video I put out, go watch it. That's the old If Game of Thrones had rednecks, so I thought that'd be funny to change it up a little bit, talking about House of the Dragon. But thanks again. Thank you, mods. Appreciate it. Thanks for watching, everybody. And we'll see you next time.